So. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Welcome to this talk which is about Ruqya. I think it's the first time actually I've been to Rochdale, alhamdulillah. So what we want to do today, inshallah ta'ala, is make this into a sort of workshop where I explain, in the first part of this workshop, I'll explain to you the importance of self-ruqya, and that's reading on yourself, basically, doing ruqya on yourself, and then I'll explain to you the importance of ruqya diagnosis, okay? And then we'll look at actually how to practically diagnose yourself for sihr, for ain, etc. Okay? Okay, so what is ruqya basically? Well, Ruqya basically is, in just layman's terms, is just using the Quran and authentic prayers from the Sunnah to treat yourself for illnesses. Now these illnesses could be physical illnesses like cancer and diabetes, or they could be spiritual diseases, okay, like sihr, ayn and jinn possession, okay. The Sharia itself doesn't really make a difference between the two, meaning the ways we can treat them. You see, we can use Ruqya to treat cancer, we can also use Ruqya to treat sihr. You see, you know. So why self-ruqya? Why should we be doing self-ruqya? Shouldn't we be going to a Raqi and getting it done, as many people do? Well, the reason why we should do self-ruqya is that because self-ruqya is the Sunnah. You will never find from the Sunnah that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went to a Raqi and read on me, please. He never did this. Yes, there is the hadith where Jibreel came to him and read on him. That's okay, you can accept ruqya from your friends and family. That's okay. But you'll never find in the Sunnah where he would actually go around looking for ruqya, asking the Sahaba to read on him or anything like this. You see. So it is really a Sunnah that we need to revive in the Ummah. Because really at the moment, from what I've seen from my experience, there is a lot of people who are ill with these problems. Not only physical problems, we have spiritual problems as well. And one of the other problem we have is that people only see ruqya is only for sihr and ayn and jinn possession. No, ruqya is for your cold. So before you actually go to the doctor, read on yourself. I mean, I'm saying go to the doctors. Yeah, go to your doctor, but at the same time, I've got a cold, I need to get something from the doctor. Okay, start. Read ruqya on yourself. And when you go to the doctor, he gives you the tablets and use that as well, no problem. You see, we only seem to leave ruqya only for, it's only maybe sometimes for the Raqi, and it's only for sihr and jinn, it's not for us to do on ourselves, which is, you know, which is wrong. We should be doing our own ruqya first of all. And ruqya is so easy that even children can do it on themselves. So when the child gets weak and ill, he should start doing ruqya on himself. You know, as soon as they can read Surah Falaq and Nas, this is something which they can do on themselves. You see, I mean, like when I'm talking about a normal illness they have a headache, they have a cold. They should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them before they start going to anybody else. This is really nurturing or fostering tawheed inside the child. Showing, telling them Allah is the one who cures, nobody else, it's only Allah. You see? And you tell them, just read Surah Falaq and Nas on yourself. This is what you need. And it teaches them this. It teaches them reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know. Another reason why doing ruqya yourself is important is because of the hadith about the 70,000 people who enter paradise without any reckoning, the well-known hadith. You see, so if you somebody, I mean, it's not haram or anything to, you know, to request ruqya, but it's better for yourself and your iman, your relationship with Allah, to you do it yourself. And that's one of the first things I say to people who ask me, Saeed, come and please read on me. I say, look, you don't want to lose your status with Allah. Yeah, I can do this for you, no problem. In fact, you shouldn't really be asking for it. I should just offer the ruqya to you. What it is, people should read on themselves. Because it's better for you and your relationship with Allah. You see. You know, because there is a hadith about that. And then so it's encouraged. The ulama always will tell you, try to read on yourself, read on yourself. You speak to any of the ulama, you'll see that they want people to read on themselves. Just like we make dua, read on yourself, do ruqya on yourself, treat your families. Really, in reality, ruqya shouldn't have become like the way it has become now, where it's only for a few people and it's become like a profession. So you find some people, they don't have a job. They don't have anything, and they decide, well, you know what? I can read the Quran, I'm going to read Ruqya on people. And they make their money through this. Okay, there's a difference of opinion regarding this issue. But if you're going to get into that reason just because you need a job, from my experience, I say don't do it. It shouldn't really be the driving force for you to help the people. Or, it should be that should be the driving force for you to help people, not making money. And using this money to feed your children, your family. Really, you should be going out there and help what you should be doing is going out there help brothers and sisters with Ruqya and offer it. People shouldn't really be asking you for Ruqya. So once you see your friends and family who are ill, you should just offer Ruqya on them. That's what we should be doing. If we all did this, subhanAllah, there'll be not many Iraqis out there really, and people losing money on Ruqya, because Ruqya obviously can be quite expensive. If people were reading on their family, oh, you're sick, my brother, let me read on you. You find your wife is ill, you read on your wife. You have brothers taking their wives to Iraq. You say, oh, brother, you read on your wife. And you find that the brothers are, they're not weak Muslims. Maybe we can have an example where the person maybe is not really a strong Muslim. He takes his wife to Iraq. Well, you find some brothers, big beard, strong, we know he's a strong Muslim in terms of his deen and sunnah. And he's not reading on his wife. Say, brother, your Surah Fatiha on your wife is much stronger, and on your children is much stronger than the Iraqi's one. Because this is your wife. This is your children. You read on them. Don't let them go to anybody else. You see? Because you're going to be more sincere, more honest to your wife and your children. You see? Rather than somebody else. And you're paying money. You see? Self-Ruqya, another thing about self-Ruqya, okay, is that it stops you falling into shirk with the Raqi as well. You find some people, the way they talk to the Raqi, subhanAllah, it sounds, they don't say it, but it sounds like they're falling into shirk with the Raqi. Some people actually do fall into shirk. They think he's got the cure. So they get very angry with you. If I don't tell you, I can't make it. Why can't you make it today? It has become that serious where their reliance is now on the Raqi. And when you stop them, you say, Akhi, wait. Did you, the way you're talking to me, the way you're calling me, and you phone me and you're after me, the way they're after me, are you like that with Allah and the dua? And they'll say to you, no. I said, Akhi, this is very dangerous. Whatever, I'm just a man. I don't have anything special. It's Allah who cures, brother. Where's your understanding? Where's your tawheed? Brother, you can do it yourself. If you're not calling on Allah the way you're chasing me and asking me, and you can see the energy they put into trying to get the Raqi. Have you done that same effort when you calling on Allah? And you find if the person is not there, the same effort. These kind of people, they shouldn't go to the Raqi. Why? Because they might fall into shirk. Forget about the illness. We're going to now. You might fall into shirk now. You see. Number 4 here. Another reason why self-Ruqya is important is that it makes your iman, it increases you in iman. So I find that some patients, brother, they fall into some sins. I said, what can I do? The gene's getting strong because I'm falling into some sins. I said, you know what you can do, brother? A wonderful thing you can do. Do more Ruqya. Make tawbah. Then you must, when you do bad deeds, you follow up with good deeds. I said, do Ruqya. That itself is the sunnah, and it will make the jinn weak, and it will make you stronger, and it will increase you in iman. So the Ruqya itself is an act of worship, and it gets you close to Allah, it increases your iman, and it gives you reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you see. And what we have seen from Ruqya, self-Ruqya, is that when you look at it, when somebody does it properly, it is much stronger than when you go to the Raqi. I've seen it when people come to me and they say, you know what, Saeed, I've seen when I do it myself, it is much stronger than when I go to the Raqi. I said, that's right. And these are people, I'm talking about people, not people who got weak iman anyway, where the jinn is talking, and you have that case. No, I'm not talking about that case. I'm talking when you find someone who's got strong iman. You look at him and say, this man's on top. You know, when this person, he does it himself, he tries it. You're right, I wasted my money. I could have given that money to Syria or something else. Why did I spend? I said, yeah, you should have done it yourself. And then also they find as well, that when they do Ruqya themselves, when they just use Surah Falaq and Nas, it's much better than Surah Baqarah. Yeah, because that's what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never used Baqarah for himself when he did Ruqya. He never even used Fatiha. Yes, the Sahaba would read Fatiha on each other, that's okay when you read on someone. But for yourself, you just need Surah Falaq and Nas, you don't need anything else. You will never find a hadith where the Nabi Sallallahu read all of Baqarah and himself. And you find, that's one of the reasons why people think Ruqya is difficult. When you tell them, you just need Surah Falaq and Nas, brother, you don't need Surah Baqarah. In fact, the sunnah is that Surah Falaq. It's really not really Baqarah. He never read Baqarah on himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So why don't you leave that alone and read on yourself? You find that some people, I don't know if it's intentionally or not, when they read Ruqya on people, they use all these ayahs people never heard of before, don't really use in their salah. They use Baqarah, and the person will think when he comes from the session, khalas, I can't do Ruqya on myself. I don't know all of this Quran, so they don't do it on themselves. So they just, So that's one of the side situations here with Ruqya. So from anecdotal evidence, and we know from the Sunnah, once you do properly, Ruqya is much stronger. Self-Ruqya is much stronger than going to the Raqi. So what does that mean? It means that you will get the cure quicker than going to the Raqi. You see? You get the cure quicker. And as I said before, one of the reasons why Ruqya is important is that you get more reward from Allah. You are reading the Quran, the Raqi is not reading now. You yourself are reading it, so for every haraf you get the reward. You get read from your alif, whatever part of the Quran you read, you're going to get the reward yourself. It's not going to go to somebody else, you see. Another point here why self-ruqya is important is because it's free. You're not paying any money. So that money, you save it. And there are people, unfortunately, who have spent a lot of money on ruqya. I've heard of cases maybe £2,000, £3,000. That's a lot of money, spending £2,000 to £3,000 because they think they have to go to the Raqi and get ruqya for them. And the Raqi, sometimes the Raqi knows, sometimes they themselves don't have much knowledge. And to be honest, I've seen some Raqis, they don't have much knowledge. And then they're taking the money from the people. They themselves don't know what they're doing against regards to diagnosis and treating the people. So it's not something I would say that some of them are doing it deliberately, taking the money from the people, but they themselves don't know what's going on, they don't know what's better for the person. They themselves think that it's better for me to read on a person. No, it's not better for you to read on a person. Tell him to go do ruqya. So if you find a Raqi, he's not telling you about read on yourself as well, brother. He doesn't tell you just as you come back to me. There's a problem there. We don't know what exactly in his heart, but there is a problem there. He should be telling you to read on yourself. Because how can he keep reading? You're only going to maybe go there once a week, twice a week. It is not enough. You need to be reading every single day usually when you've got some sihr or jinn possession. You see. And one of the things about reading yourself is that it cuts you off from relying on other people. You are independent, okay, and you're not relying on anybody else. And that's what our deen is all about. If you're relying on Allah and you're not needed to worry about anybody else. Oh, when you're going to come to do the ruqya or anything like that. No. You read on yourself and you're independent. You don't have to worry about, you have to change your timetable to meet the Raqi's timetable. No. You can read your ruqya whenever you're ready to read your ruqya. No, there's no restrictions on you now with regards to ruqya, you see. Okay, so that's basically some of the reasons why it's important to read self-ruqya. Now, you can read more of that on my website, practicalselfruqya.com. On self-ruqya, there's a section where the article is called, Why Are You Doing Self-Ruqya? Why are you doing self-ruqya? And one of the reasons why actually you are doing self-ruqya, the reason why you are doing it, which I should have mentioned here, is that you're doing the ruqya, so what? To get back to worshipping Allah properly here. That's the reason you're doing it. The reason you want to get better is so you can pray properly again. Because sometimes when you got sick and all these jinn, you can't pray properly. So the reason, the niyyah, the real intention why you're doing the ruqya is so that you can get back, you can get rid of the jinn, get rid of the sihr, the ayn, so you can now do hajj properly, you can do salah properly, you can make dhikr properly, you don't have these problems, sickness. You find, when you make this intention inside the ruqya, this niyyah is there, that you're only doing this ruqya really so Allah cures me, so I can get back to worshipping properly, you find the ruqya becomes very strong. I've heard people say that when they put this niyyah inside, they find the ruqya is different, inside it's different, I'm feeling different. I said, yeah, you're feeling different because this is getting you better and it's increasing your iman. This action you're doing, it's bringing you closer to Allah because you're only doing this action so you can get back to worshipping Allah properly again, you see. Okay, why now ruqya diagnosis? Now you find a lot of people, a lot of Raqis, when they read on people, they don't really make an emphasis or a point on the diagnosis. The diagnosis is very important. You have to know what the person's suffering from. How can you do treatment before even not knowing what the person's got? So it's important to do ruqya diagnosis on them to find out what exactly they're suffering from. Okay, so one of the things that ruqya diagnosis does is that it stops you falling to shirk with the jinn. Okay, sometimes, alright, when people are reading Ruqya on someone, right, they don't know what the person's got, so they start talking to the jinn. Big problem, you start talking to the jinn. Some of the ulama said it's actually shirk. You're going to fall into shirk by talking to the jinn. You talk to the jinn and okay, and you're asking the jinn for help. What's this? Where's it got? Is it got sihr or is it jinn? Tell me. You know, where's the sihr? Who did the sihr on him? Who gave him the aim? If you go into these sort of things, the ulama say that, like Fawzan, you're going into shirk. Stop this. Don't ask anything about the unseen and these things. Because why? Because you become like the fortune teller. And that's one of the reasons why jinn catching is a big problem. Don't do jinn catching. So if you find somebody's doing jinn catching, you don't do jinn catching, because these people are talking too much to the jinn. Talking too much to the jinn is a big problem. Because it's such a complicated thing talking to the jinn, my advice to people, it's haram to talk to the jinn because you have to call them to Islam, no doubt. But because what I'm seeing, if you haven't got too much experience with this, leave it. Just tell, when the jinn is talking, get out. You Muslim, become Muslim, leave it like that, simple. Make them, ask them to become Muslim and tell them to get out of the body. That's it, leave it like that. If you leave it like that, you'll be safe from the shirk. Don't go too much into talking to them or anything like that. You see? Don't get into conversation with these jinn. Leave it. Get out. Become Muslim. That's it. Leave it like that. Because if you get into that too much, you can fall into shirk with them. You see? Another reason why Ruqya diagnosis is important, it clarifies what the patient is suffering from. So we have, and this is quite sad, we have in this ummah, you know. I just heard about another brother getting divorced. I said, what is divorce? What happened? You know? Nobody ever talks about the sihr of divorce. It's real. It happens. Okay? So it's important to find out, if you got sihr, but what do you think, brother, I'm thinking of divorcing my wife. Why? Has she done anything? No, I just feel like divorcing my wife. Some people, they say like this. And it's okay for me, so I can make the... What was... I don't know, has she done anything to her? No, she's okay. Anything happened? Has she changed or anything like that? No. So, why do you want a divorce? I said, I'm just tired. What do you mean? You don't give me a good reason, brother. You don't give me a good reason, yeah? Even sometimes the jinn will find you, the jinn who's gone inside this brother maybe, the jinn will find good reason. Because what could happen is that one of the things it does is it makes the brother not attracted to his wife anymore. He said, brother, khalas, I'm not attracted to my wife anymore, so I need to get married. It's fitna for me. I need to find another wife. The wife is not letting me marry another wife, a second wife, and I'm not attracted to her no more. It's gone, brother. When I'm outside, it's fitna. And it's because of the type of sihr they have. It's fitna outside. All the women are outside. Even the older women are affecting me. So what is happening here, brother? Even the older women are affecting me outside. My wife is not. What am I going to do here? So I need to have divorce. Brother. I'm not a woman. I can just make divorce, brother. Why are you making it so difficult for me? Brother said, wait. Let's find out if you got sihr. No, brother. I have to get divorced. And nobody stops them. And nobody. I've actually even seen some of the Sharia councils here. Nobody knows anything about sihr of divorce. Unless it's in the Quran. How come Allah talks about it in the Quran. How come we don't know about it? Why don't you check yourself for sihr before you divorce your wife? It's there. Yes, not everybody is sihr. Because one of the things when I tell people, oh Saeed, you're saying everybody's got sihr. Oh, I didn't say this. I said there is some. Allah says in the Quran, there's going to be some. So just check yourself, brother. Oh, okay, I'll check myself, Saeed. Okay? And he reads the Ruqya and himself says, see Saeed, I haven't got anything. And then we have to stop them and say, yeah, you know why, brother, you didn't get reaction, okay? Because you're not really asking Allah. Because you yourself, you believe that there's no sihr. So when you read the Ruqya on yourself, sorry enough, when you're reading it, he doesn't believe, he's not really, beseeching Allah, calling on Allah. There's no dua, it's not really there. Because he doesn't believe he's got it. So that's why he gets negative result. You find this particularly with the brothers. Sisters, they're more willing to do the Ruqya on themselves. When I see there's a marriage problem, I tell them, look, sister, you know what? There might be sihr or divorce. When you check, she will check and she properly checks and you find she gets reaction. The brother usually, when we hear all these stories, I say, that sounds like he's got jinn. I'm 90% sure he's got jinn. He's got sihr or divorce. But you need to do the Ruqya diagnosis, brother, just to make sure confirmation for me. He does it. See, brother, nothing. I told you, isn't it? I need second wife, isn't it? No, brother, you've got to check yourself. You got to sincerely do it, you see. And another thing is that we need to, marriage counselors and sheikhs who are involved in divorce and that, first thing they do And it's one of the advices I gave to the Islamic Center in Luton where I usually pray. Whenever you're dealing with divorce cases, bring them to me first of all. I'll talk to them. If there's no sihr, then I give them back to you. Okay, then you, because there's some other issue we need to deal with it. So that's what the agreement I had with some of the brothers there. We've got to check for this. It's in the Quran. So why are we checking for sihr? You see. So another thing it does, it clarifies: is your mental illness you have, is it sihr caused by sihr or jinn, or is it something physically wrong with your brain? The nerves in the brain, or something wrong with the brain. Because it could be two things. Not everything is sihr. Not everything is sihr or jinn. So we have to do diagnosis. So we need to do this. You see. So it clarifies this issue. Another reason why Ruqya diagnosis is important. It improves the treatment. It improves the treatment. So the person maybe has got ayn, or he's got sihr. Once he knows he's got sihr, yes, Saeed, I've got sihr. Okay, now look for the ta'weed, look for it. Maybe you'll find it in your garden, you'll find it in your house, especially the place where the person, as you ask them, which room or which place do you really get affected when you go? He says, when I go to my mother's house, there's a particular room I go to, when I'm there, I feel really bad. I say, look for the ta'weed in there. Because you've got sihr, you see? And I can tell him that he's not going to waste his time looking for the ta'weed, looking. Brother, why are you looking for the ta'weed? You haven't got sihr. Somebody could be like, that's why it's important. You're not going to waste your time now. That's why you have to know what you got. So some people say, well, it looks like you got ayn or not got ayn. Has he got ayn or has not got ayn? We need to know. If he's got ayn, then we're going to try and get the water to wash with it. Maybe he knows somebody who gave him ayn, because sometimes you can tell when you see somebody's dead, you say, I had a strange feeling the way that person looked at me. I think he gave it to me. Okay, ask him for the water. You don't want to go through all that fitna. If you haven't got it, don't go into that fitna of asking people. Because sometimes when you ask people, they don't downright giving it to you. And there's people, they fall into fights with this. Give me the water. And trying to get the water, and they end up fighting with the person. And you might end up in a fight with somebody. Then you find afterwards, Saeed, I just realized, subhanallah, I don't have ayn. Oh, and you did all of that fitna, asking the people for the water, and you're fighting with them and all that. You see, brother, you should have done diagnosis. Why are you doing this treatment straight away? Do the diagnosis first of all, Another thing why Ruqya diagnosis is important, it allows you to advise the patient appropriately. Yeah? So if the person has got sihr of divorce, obviously we'll tell him, Akhi, you stay with that wife. There's nothing wrong with her, and this is all from the jinn. The waswas you're feeling now, this is waswas, ignore it. Stay with your wife. You do not divorce your wife with this. Or you might find someone who wants to leave his job, say, Akhi, stay in that job. It's just the jinn playing with you. Stay, so they know what to do. So you can give them good advice regarding their situation. If you don't know Ruqya diagnosis and how to do it, then you can't give people advice. So they'll say to you, brother, I think it's just normal. I feel natural. I want to divorce my wife. Or I want to leave this job. I don't want to do this. I don't want to work in this company. And it could be all to do with the sihr, but we won't know that until we do the Ruqya diagnosis. Another thing why it's important Ruqya diagnosis, it makes you, when you're doing the Ruqya, and I've experienced this myself, it makes the dua, when you're reading Ruqya, more sincere. Because once you know that somebody's done sihr on you, you're going to make a different dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's going to change things, So once you know that somebody's, done, sihr, like I had sihr to kill my wife. Because sometimes I would get so angry with myself, what is this feeling? I would sit down, and I don't know what this feeling is. It's a very bad feeling, anger. I never felt like this before. It's so bad I have to sit down with that feeling and say, I don't know what's wrong. She's not done anything. I feel like killing her. You see now, somebody, once you've done the diagnosis and you realize what it was, this was sihr. This is the jinn doing this to me. When you do the Ruqya yourself, you're gonna really call on Allah, Ya Rabbi, help me. When you do the Ruqya, your heart is really going to be there. You're not going to be like half-hearted with it, when you're doing the Ruqya. No, you know you got sihr. Somebody has targeted you with sihr. Some enemy out there has done sihr on you. So only Allah can help you here. So when you read the Ruqya on yourself, you're going to be sincerely asking Allah, Ya Rabbi, help me. This is really serious. You see. Another thing about Ruqya diagnosis, it removes the doubts. Have I got sihr? I don't know where to go. Am I like this? You find there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately. A lot of people I found, they're reading Ruqya themselves, they're reading Baqarah, they do a lot of treatment. And they don't know what they've got. You know? So they're just in doubt. Maybe I don't know what I've got. Have I got sihr of divorce? I don't know if I've got sihr. I've got jinn. I don't know if I've got jinn in me, brother. I don't know what I'm got. So when you do Ruqya, you know what you've got. You've got sihr, you've got ayn, you've got jinn. And that jinn is trying to make you get divorced. You can tell the person. So the person knows what to do, and you know, so there's no more doubts now. I know clarity, I know what I'm suffering from. This is very important. Anybody who's had any of these illnesses will know. Once you know you got it, alhamdulillah, I know what I've got now. All those years I was suffering, you know, all those jobs I refused, all those women I didn't propose to, I didn't accept their proposals, all those men I didn't accept their proposals for. I know all these divorces I had. Many people have divorce after divorce after divorce. So I don't know what's going on, Saeed. Divorce after divorce after divorce. I can't help that. What's going on? So he doesn't know what's going on. A divorce after divorce after divorce after divorce. You know, it gets rid of all of these doubts. You know what you've got, you know. Another thing with Ruqya diagnosis, it helps you discover new spiritual ailments. Now this is something which many people don't know about. Now in the Sharia, there's no difference between the physical disease like cancer and these or the diabetes and the spiritual disease. It is possible. There's no text saying that there's only this, there's only sihr, there's only ayn and jinn possession. Khalas, there's no more after that. No, there's others maybe. You can't just close the door on it like that. Just like the other illnesses. There was one illness, for instance, which I found I was suffering from. There's too much waswas. It's just there's no jinn in the person. There's no ayn, there's no sihr, but it's too much waswas. It's just too much. It's not normal. And they've got feelings and this. When you diagnose this person, you get reactions. You say, this is something which is a severe waswas. And some ulama actually isn't talking about it, but they don't go into about diagnosing it. They know some people got it. OCD, making wudu again. This is this illness. I remember I had one patient, two patients. No sihr, no jinn, no ayn. Really. These things weren't really there. This problem there, and they keep complaining about a problem. I said, Khalas, I don't know what's wrong with you. You go to the doctors. They go to the doctors. Doctor doesn't know what's wrong with them. 2 years like this, back and forth, back and forth. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know. Then I was thinking, could this be this waswas? It could be severe waswas, it's what this person is suffering from. So I checked for that. I did and we got reactions. I said, Khalas, this is what you got, brother. The waswas has become something serious now that it's become like a disease. So we have to treat. So when we treated the person, he got better. In fact, there's a diagram of it where I put some cups around the brother and hijab around here. Put hijab and took the Ruqya and we took it out and relief. He got the waswas has gone down and he's normal, he feels better. Funny thing is, I had the same problem. So there's issues, for instance, I was always, when I would go to Tower Bridge, and I've said this some of my time, I would see it and I would get affected by it. I'm scared of this thing, I don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was. You know, I would be around here and that people would take me down. I'd be just worried about this bridge, I don't know what it was. When I diagnosed myself, have I got this problem? I reacted to it. And when I treated myself, did the same treatment on the brother, it went. So when I see it now, I'm not affected by that. You see, so there are some issues, some waswas which is very bad. And you need Ruqya to get rid of it. You see. So if you don't do Ruqya diagnosis, we will never know about these things. You see. We will never know about how, is the person got, is it spiritual disease, what is he got? You see. Another thing why Ruqya diagnosis is important is that it helps you appreciate Allah, what Allah has done for you. So once I knew that I had this sihr to kill my wife, I had other sihr as well, I had this sihr to kill my wife. Obviously it makes you love Allah more, Allah helped me, I didn't kill my wife in the end. So they can do sihr to divorce or something like that, and it doesn't work. You can have sihr, but it doesn't mean that you get it, or it will work. So you find that you've got sihr, but you don't have, maybe you don't follow the waswas, so you kill your wife. Some people they do those things, but you see. So for instance, if you find a ta'weef, okay, and if it's in your house, and the sahid is, yes, I did this for you. Or maybe it's not effective. Why don't you check yourself for sihr? So this person now starts running around. Oh brother, I've got sihr. Who said that to you? You got sihr. Oh, the sahid, he said to me, make this ta'weef. Look. He done it for me. He said he's put this in the ground. So, maybe Allah didn't make it work. Why don't you check yourself first before you start doing all of these things you're doing now? Trying to look for this ta'weef. You'll spend a lot of time and money trying to find it. No, brother, he said that he's done it for me. That doesn't work. You've got to search. That's why Ruqya diagnosis is important. You save time. Wasting your time doing things which you don't even have sihr. You see. So going back to that point, once you know that what Allah has done for you, you're going to appreciate Allah. So once I knew that Allah has already saved me from this one, I didn't kill my wife, I didn't divorce my wife, I didn't do these things. Alhamdulillah, Allah's help. This makes your relationship with Allah, improves your relationship with Allah. And you appreciate what Allah has done for you. Because a lot of times, we have a problem in the ummah, even all of us, I myself, we don't think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done for us. How many things and fitna and problems He saved you from. Maybe there was a person who's coming to kill you. You don't know about this. You see, he's getting ready to come and kill you. But you don't, and Allah just changes it, and He doesn't know, He forgets to do it, and He does something else. Maybe there was some jinn who was coming to kill you. Because, and it doesn't happen, because Allah. You see? So sometimes, you will never know about those things, but sometimes with Ruqya diagnosis, you can appreciate what Allah has done for you with this. So when I see this and I remember this, and it makes me have a connection with Allah. I remember what Allah has done for me. It's very important. It makes you feel closer to Allah. I have to tell you, it makes you love Allah more. You feel the love in your heart. You feel it when somebody does something for you. When gives you a house, gives you money, when your own parents, you feel something for them. You thank you for them. You're thankful. You feel it. You feel more love in your heart when your wife or your family or something. You feel it. So what about when Allah does it for you, and you realize what Allah has done for you? You feel it in your heart. It increases the love of Allah for you. Once you know what Allah has done for you, that's why it's important to do it. The last thing, and there's other reasons, but we won't go into all of them, what I'll just mention here, why it is important, Ruqya diagnosis. The only way you know that you're cured from sihr, from jinn possession, from ayn, the only way you're going to know from waswas, conditioning, is by doing the Ruqya itself. You do diagnosis. So how do I know that I'm cured, alhamdulillah? Oh, by doing a diagnosis. So I'll sit there, reading myself, nothing, I didn't feel anything. Because these spiritual diseases, like the physical ones, the spiritual diseases, what are they? You can't see them, you can't touch them, but they react to the Ruqya. When you read Ruqya on them, they make a reaction in the body. There's some reaction. There's something, it does something to the body. If you don't feel that something, khalas, you've not got it no more, it's gone, the sihr is gone. The jinn possession is gone, the ayn is gone. See, it means that you're cured. That's the only way you know that you're cured, there's no other way. Yes, there may be a way, maybe through a dream. You go to a sheikh who knows about dream interpretation, he can tell you it's gone. But really, the only way you're going to really know from yourself is by reading Ruqya in yourself. And you get no reactions, alas, that's it, you're cured. There's no more sihr. Some people sadly have mistaken, and they think that they treat this spiritual diseases like the physical diseases, like this cancer, diabetes. They say, how do you feel? I'm feeling better, brother. I'm feeling better, brother. And that's it. Once they start feeling better, khalas, it's gone now. No, read Ruqya, brother, because we can't see this. The other diseases, we can see them. Like when you got bacteria, infection, we can check. The doctor will take swab, okay, we see, check. And the microscope, see the blood is clean, okay, the bacteria has gone, so you're cured. Yes, because you can see it, you can see these things, do tests. But with the Ruqya, with the spiritual disease like sihr, the only test you've got is what? Reading the Ruqya. You have to read Ruqya to know this. There's no other way. So if you find sometimes there's some people, they say they can do hijama, we can do hijama, I can tell you what you got. You got sihr, brother, from the hijama. No. Yes, you can say maybe you're 95% correct, because you can see that most sihr patients, their body looks like this or this. Yes, sometimes when you're doing hijama, you might find this person shaking. When they're doing, that could be jinn, yes, it could be. But we don't know until 100% until you do the Ruqya. Likewise with the doctors might say, yes, I think when I look at this person that he's got some symptoms, I think he's got sihr. Or you won't, only way you're going to know is by doing Ruqya, reading Ruqya on them. That's the only way. Because these things, they react to Ruqya. They make some reaction in the body. You see, that's how we're going to know. All right. Before we go into the practical part, the diagnosis, before you do Ruqya diagnosis on yourself and your families if you want to, all right, the first thing you have to be careful of is sins. You shouldn't be doing Ruqya really if you've got a lot of sins. So somebody's not wearing hijab properly, doesn't pray on time, and he's not following the sunnah. Say, look, brother, rectify your religion, and then you do ruqya. How can you be doing this? Because ruqya is a dua. If you fall into sins, as we know from the hadith in Sahih Muslim, where the man is up, it's calling on Allah, help him, his food is haram, his everything is haram. How is Allah going to answer his dua? So likewise, ruqya is a dua. If you fall into too many sins, okay, you're doing like major sins, and you keep doing the same minor sins all the time, like listening to music all the time, then he says, you're not going to, your ruqya maybe not be effective, will not be effective, you know. You see, so you have to be careful of sins. So you have to make sure there are no sins. So make sure before you do the ruqya, get rid of sins. Don't do the ruqya yourself until you get rid of those sins. Okay. Another point about doing before you do the diagnosis, you have to make sure yourself when you're doing it that your heart is connected with Allah. You're really asking Allah, Ya Rabbi, show me if I've got sihr. That's in your heart. You want to see if there's a reaction. You're asking Allah. Like I said to that guy who was thinking about the sihr of divorce. Same sort of situation. If you don't really ask Allah, then you get a negative result. Many people get that problem. Many brothers get that issue. When you tell them to do it, okay, all right, you find that it doesn't work for them. You see. And one of the things about the jinn, they're very conniving. So you find that I know from my experience, because I'm in this field, because I know from experience, if you're a brother who keeps asking for a second wife, it is one of the signs of sihr. But is the person got 100% sihr? No, it could be natural. He wants to do the sunnah, or it's okay. But what I would say to that brother, say, if you really don't have no money or something like this, especially I'm talking about brothers who have no money. There's people who have no money, they don't have the ability to look after another wife. They're very insistent on marrying a second wife. They want to marry. Say, no, brother, I'm going to marry. Tawakkal Allah, I want to just marry. No, don't marry these guys, brother. If you got money, can you do it? Are you giving the rights to the first wife? You find. So when you get a situation like this, you want a second wife. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the house for another wife. He's not even giving the first wife the rights. We're not talking about just money and this. He doesn't give the wife affection, a love. You must say, no, you have to use affection and love, It's nice words to your wife, treat them nicely. If he's not doing these things and he wants a second wife, it's one of the signs of sihr. We don't know until he does the ruqya. But what you find when you try to tell the person to do the ruqya, because when you tell him to do ruqya and stuff, he doesn't really call on Allah when he's doing it, because he thinks having a second wife, he must be a man. That's how some brothers are like this. It must be because I'm a man, that's why I want a second wife. So no, brother, it could be because the jinn is trying to tell you to, because it wants to separate your wife, because it knows your wife doesn't want the second wife to be involved, and you're going to get a divorce. The jinn is here to make a divorce. So for these jinn, it's any means necessary. Any way to make the divorce happen, it's going to make the divorce happen. Even if it means killing someone, they need to make a divorce, they will do it. Okay? So you have to make sure when you're doing the ruqya, that any preconceived ideas, any ideas or anything, leave it to the side. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, show me if I've got sihr. That's what your intention is there. You have to have that. If it's not there, it's one of the conditions of the ruqya, it's not going to work. Because why? Because you're not sincere. Just like somebody said, okay, brother, make dua for me, make dua that you pass your exam, and you're not really asking Allah, oh please help me, your heart is not there, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work, because you're not really asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Going back to the first point about the sins, one of the reasons why stopping the sins is important is because if the person or the patient does have jinn inside them, okay, if you've got too many sins, then that's what's going to cause the jinn to come up and start, talking and causing issues and problems. See, that only really happens when people have got major sins, from my experience and dealing with people. And I had a jinn myself, you see. So it only comes when you've got sins, that's when the jinn is going to be talking. It doesn't talk in the small children below the age of puberty or strong Muslims. You never find the jinn speaking in them. Yes, when you read the Ruqya, you might find the arm is shaking. Then when you tell brother, can you stop that arm? He says, yeah, I can stop it, Saeed. He said, the jinn doesn't have power over him, and it never speaks in his brother. It never takes over his mind. You don't find, and he's talking, the jinn is talking. No, because Allah doesn't humiliate the believers as well. Some people, they argue with me, say, oh no, Saeed, this is. I said, okay, you bring me some of the ulama of the Salaf who had jinn. You bring me pious people now, the ulama, our shuyukh today, they get jinn. But the jinn will never speak inside them. The jinn is da'if jiddan inside them. Can't do nothing. You can't do anything inside them. When they only know they got jinn inside them is one day when you do the ruqya. Oh, look at this. What is this, Saeed? Oh, Oh, what is that? I said, that's jinn. Oh, really? Subhanallah. How do you? This is how when you got strong iman, because the jinn is weak. Allah doesn't humiliate it. You tell me, you bring me from the ulama and these people where they've got jinn in them, or small children. You never find the jinn speaking in them. So when I tell people, look, your jinn is speaking, brother, this is humiliation. Allah doesn't allow you. Do you think? Remember our Shaykh, if he was giving the khutbah or something, and the jinn is speaking. Allah doesn't allow these things to happen. Our ulama, they're not going to have jinn speaking in them. It doesn't. You're not going to find it. You won't find students of knowledge. And I've read Ruqya on the students of knowledge. You're not going to find it on them. They've got the jinn. I've seen the jinn inside them when I read the Ruqya. It's like that. They're like this. I said, that's jinn. It will never speak inside them. And you see, if you know this principle, if you know this, because the Quran is clear on this issue, the shaitan is da'if. You bring me the way it's strong. It's not strong. If you got iman, we all know from our experience from the qareen, everybody knows the qareen, we all have the qareen. If you got strong iman, the qareen is very weak. You can't do nothing too much to you. The waswas it gives you, it's not too much for you can handle it easily. Likewise with the possessing jinn, it's the same sort. It gives you all it does is gives you waswas. That's all it does, waswas. You got strong iman, and you carry on doing your things. You become the master, and you can't do anything to you. You see, you controlling the whole situation. So jinns only really speak in people who've got weak iman. Right? So that's what it is. So you have to make sure that you're not falling into any sins, and then you don't have to worry about Ruqya. Because what people are worried about the Ruqya, Saeed, I'm worried about doing Ruqya myself because I'm scared the jinn is going to talk and it's going to cause problems. I don't say, no, don't worry. If you've got iman, then it's not going to speak. Don't worry about it. Do Ruqya on yourself and do it on your family. It won't cause a problem for you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Right, let me just go. Should I stop for questions now or go straight to the practical part?
Take questions.
Go to some questions now?
Okay,
just do 1 or 2 questions on what we just covered here before, if we forget anything maybe, and then I can do the practical part. Any questions? Any questions from the sisters?
I have a question, Saeed. You know what's it called? You said earlier about the sihr divorce. Is that valid then, that divorce, if it takes place?
Yeah, yes, I mean some...
Can you repeat the question because I can't hear the question?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can... Oh, I'll repeat the question first. Okay, the brother is asking, if there is a sihr of divorce, okay, the person has sihr of divorce and he divorces his wife, okay, is that divorce valid? From what I know, from what I've studied, it is valid. Unless there are some ulama, I did read an opinion where, I think it was bin Baz rahimahullah, he said that if it's too much anger involved and the person just says talaq, then maybe it might not be valid in that situation because it's like a type of madness. You see, so if it comes like where the jinn has manifested itself and it comes over, the jinn is there, and the jinn does it, then that's not valid. That's like a madman. You see, but if the person is calm, you know what this happens. Mostly you find this when the person's got very strong iman. Person's got very strong iman. You look at him, you can't tell he's got sihr of divorce. What he just has hatred for his wife. Because and all the jinn is doing is giving you feelings for hatred for his wife. It is not doing anything else because it's weak. All he can do is that. And the brother gets... Or what it does is like removes the feeling of love from the husband and his wife. So, brother, I'm gonna divorce my wife because I don't think that situation, if he does it, then it will become valid then, brother, from what I've been told, what I've studied. And most of those cases you won't know anyway. You see, they don't do why don't they check themselves before they do it? You see?
One question is related to
Oh, you can ask a question.
Some people say it could be the qareen when you do the ruqya and then get a reaction. Because we all know we have a qareen, everybody has a qareen. Could it be the qareen? There's no setup, no magic, it's just the qareen getting affected.
Okay, so you're saying now, so the question is, when a person does ruqya on somebody and there's a reaction, it is the qareen which is reacting.
Could it be? That's the question.
What you're saying, okay, what I would say here, from what we've seen from our experience, this is experience again, actually. After you mention here, a lot of this is experience, You find that when you're dealing with these things, you'll find that there's a lot of experience. So what you find, how do we know this? This is the question, how do we know this? We know this because when we read on somebody who's all clear, okay, alright, like for instance, when I read on myself, you don't find there's no reaction. I've got qareen is still there with me. Where is it? Why is it not reacting? It's not going to react. It doesn't react. So qareen, because the qareen itself is not a disease. Just like the angel, you have an angel with you sometimes there, isn't it? The angel there. These things don't react to ruqya. Because the qareen, the waswas from the qareen, and the qareen itself, this is not a disease in and of itself. Yes, it will become, the waswas from the qareen can become a disease afterwards. But the waswas it gives you is not disease. And it's not, we know this from experience. So somebody who doesn't have any jinn, no ayn, nothing is there, we've checked them for these things. When you read it, it's not there. Those things, it never reacts to them. It's only the possessive jinn which reacts to the ruqya, you see.
They could say, oh, this weak, one with the weak iman, they got reacted.
No, even, so when you say that when only when somebody with weak iman, they get a reaction. What we've seen from experience, the ones with weak iman, even strong iman, will get reactions. You get reactions even with someone with strong iman. They will relax, because when they relax their body, they will get some sort of reaction. They will feel something. You have to feel something. If you feel something, that means you've got it. Whatever you're looking for, whatever, and what is this based on? It's based on the intention when you're reading. All down to the intention. Not so much the eye of the Quran they're using. Yes, it affects, but it is really the intention. So when you're reading, you don't get any reaction. Even if, for instance, when we do the ruqya on somebody and we read ruqya on the qareen, no reaction. You see, you read ruqya for jinn possession, no reaction. You read ruqya for qareen, no reaction. You see, it doesn't. And the person's definitely got that. So it shows you the qareen, it doesn't react to ruqya. See, it's not reactive, okay, and that's true because when you look at the hadith and look at it is not a disease. When the Sahaba came to the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, we get these crazy thoughts and this and that. What do you say? He said, this is your iman. This isn't. You know the hadith, and he just sent them away. This is not a disease. It's not enough. You need ruqya. He didn't tell them go do ruqya. You need to do ruqya for this. No. So what we find is that when somebody has got when you read ruqya for these things, when they read ruqya, when checking themselves with the qabri, there's no reaction. Because the ruqya is not a disease, so it's not a spiritual disease, so it won't react to ruqya. In fact, it's not even a physical disease. It is something natural for everybody to have this. It's part of us to have this. It is normal, you see. Okay. Is that okay, Akhi? Yeah, so yeah. Yes.
Brother, please forgive me for asking what's qareen?
You know that the shaitan which everybody has.
Oh,
Qareen, which that only gives us waswas,
Because I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Everybody has one.
Yes, oh yeah, no, I've not I've never heard that word before, qareen.
Qareen, yeah. That's what they call it. The sisters have any questions? Okay, fine then. So let's do briefly diagnosis and how you diagnose yourself. Now, if the sisters won't be able to see, you can go onto my website and it's on YouTube. You'll find out where I got. If you go practicalselfruqya.com, you can see the diagnosis. If the sisters can't understand what we're actually doing here right now. Okay, what you have to do when you want to do the diagnosis. Okay, like I said, the first word we say about that, sins. Make sure there are no sins. Okay, let's be clear about that. You've got to be careful about sins. All right. And we're not talking about sins which are to do with, there's three types. There's sins which are to do with the mouth, to do with the limbs, and there's sins inside the heart. We have issues here, which I was just dealing with someone recently. Some people got issues with Allah. Some people have issues with Allah. They're not happy with what Allah has done for us. It's dangerous, brother. What do you mean you're not happy with what Allah has done for you? You see, so there's sometimes, and the jinn is, sometimes we had cases like this. The jinn is always talking. Does she pray? Yes, she prays. Does she wear niqab? She wears niqab. She's doing everything, brother. We can't see nothing. Okay, there's something in the heart, bro. What's the jinn is talking like this? It comes up by itself. There's some cases like they fall into so many sins. There's no ruqya now. Like I was once with one brother. I was sitting there, I said, look, what you have to do this, and you have to take this habit of soda. You see this honey, take this honey. Then he said, oh, Saeed, 1 minute. Oh, it's coming. And the jinn just comes like that. I said, subhanallah. And he started fighting with me. I had to put him down. So that shows you that brother's got a lot of sins. For the jinn to come out when it wants to please, when it wants to please, it's very dangerous. I mean, he could be driving, he could just come up, crash. He could come up and just kill somebody. Haven't you seen those people on this, when they arrest them and they say, what did you do this for? I said, I don't know. And you can see it from their faces, they don't know what's going on. That's why they send them to the mental hospital. You see? So you have to make sure there are no sins before you actually do this. Make sure there are no sins when you do it. And make sure when you do the diagnosis, make sure you are beseeching Allah. You want to know what the answer is. Okay? So what you should do first of all, better to lie flat on the bed. Better to lie flat on the bed. Sometimes I tell people to do it sitting up, but really when I look from experience, again, look, this is experience. How do you know this? How do you know? Because from experience. Again. So, so from standing up, sitting up may be a bit difficult. Now what we find better, lie down flat on the bed without no pillow. If you need a pillow, put it on or use a pillow. Right? Lie down flat, and then you should get your, what we call, you sit relaxed. Make sure there's no cold, the room's not cold. Okay, make sure you're not covered with any covers. You lie down flat and you close your eyes and you relax. You feel your body. You sit down and you relax and you feel your body. And this is going to what we call this, what I call this, is your reference point. This is your standard reference point. This is how you are normally, because nobody's reading Ruqya, and this is your natural state. Okay, so you sit there like that, or lie down like that for about 10 minutes. If you want to do it longer, no problem, do it longer. Relax, feel how your body's feeling. You notice how maybe you have a little itch there, you have a bit of pain there. That pain, that little itch, it is nothing. No, it's not caused by the Ruqya. This is normal now. This is your normal situation. Your eyes are moving a little bit. It's all normal. This has nothing to do with it. Okay? So whatever your state is, that's your normal state. After you've done that for 10 minutes and you've noted it down in your mind mentally, some people write it down. Okay, I got this, I got this. But if you can, most people will mentally note it down. Yes, this is my normal state. This is how I feel. And then what they do, then you read the Ruqya. And what you will do, you read Surah Falaq. So you read Surah Falaq. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق. And this is for sihr diagnosis. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. And you keep repeating that ayah number 4. So you're reading that ayah, you keep reading the ayah. Keep reading. I'm not going to keep reading the ayah because once I read the ayah somewhere and then somebody came up and we had a fight from the order. So I said to the brother, I'm going to I'll just briefly do it. I'm going to do like the whole 15 minutes. This is how you do it. You read. Somebody got up and there was like a fight in the place because it affected the jinn inside him. So what is that? So forgive me. That's why I'm just doing it. So it's quite easy anyway. It's not very difficult. It's just ayah number 4. You keep repeating it. All right. So you keep repeating. You're lying down. You're repeating the ayah. To yourself. And if you feel something, that's it, you've got what it is. Now this can be anything sometimes, because everybody usually feels different, reacts different. But what you've got to understand is the important part, which is very important here, which many people don't think about too much about, from what I've seen from experience, is that this is all asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're asking Allah, Ya Rabbi, show me, this is your intention, this is the niyyah. Show me that I've got the sihr. Because you know that Allah shows these things, they react to the Ruqya. They make something happen in the body. Okay? The Ruqya makes them react. So you're asking Allah, Ya Rabbi, show me. So that's what the intention is, show me I've got the sihr. So you want a reaction. You ask Allah. If you sincerely ask Allah, you will see it. Allah will show you that you've got it. I've not seen anybody who's not really having this issue with it. If you read for long, and you can't just read for 5 minutes. No, you have to read. You read. Alright? You read for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you find after 20 to 30 minutes that there is nothing there, then okay, then you haven't got it. If you're still a bit doubtful, then do it again. There's no harm. There's no problem. You want to do it again just to make sure it's okay. So do it again a few times just to make sure. Say, yes, brother Saeed, I've done it 5 times, checking for the sihr, nothing was there. I said, khalas, brother, then you've gone. Then it's okay, you haven't got it. You see? So that's what you do. For sihr, you just use that ayah there. Now there is another method which you could look on my website, on the first video which I did on Practical Self-Ruqya Part 1. I'll show you how to use water. I'm not going to do that now because there's no time for that. But you can do it without water. You don't have to use the Ruqya. So what's the Ruqya with the water? Well, I'll read Surah Al-Fatiha inside here a few times. Then I'll drink some of this, put some of this on my hands and face, and then I'll wait, then I will dry it, and then I'll lie down and I'll read the Ruqya. Why does this help? It makes the Ruqya more intense. This is a bit more intense now. Why? Because now you have the water inside you, okay? This is giving you effect, okay? And also you're reading the Ruqya. So there's two things now happening. You've got the water giving you, is affecting you, and you're reading the Ruqya, so this is more intense. That's why you get quicker reactions when you use the water usually. You see? And you use the water. And in fact, sometimes what I use with the water when I'm unsure about, is the person got sihr or they're like this, doubtful as well. So I say to them, okay, you take the water, hold the water in your mouth. You take the water, which is what I read on this. They hold the water in their mouth, and then I read the Ruqya on them. So they have the water in their mouth, and I'm reading Ruqya on them at the same time. So the water's got Ruqya, and it affects them. And at the same time I'm reading Ruqya, it becomes a bit more intense, you see. And then that's what, most of the times when I do that one, then we can work out is it sihr, because they're a bit unsure of themselves sometimes. And then that helps them, that clears it, if it's done or not. So that's basically the sihr diagnosis. You just keep repeating that ayah. For ayn, same process. You get that reference point, okay? And then you're going to read the last ayah. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. Okay? You just keep repeating that. You keep repeating that. And if you get a reaction, then you've got ayn. What reaction will that be? Usually with that one, what we find is the people's eyes start flicking around. Like that. And what you've got to do when you do all the Ruqya, you have to relax your body. You mustn't be tense. Yes, when you're doing the treatment on yourself, you must hold it. You must hold yourself. Don't let the jinn move around too much if you've got jinn, and you read the Ruqya yourself. Because this is treatment, this is not diagnosis now. You don't worry about what reactions you get. You've got to keep it. But when you do diagnosis, you have to relax your body. Relax your body, allow your body to react to the Ruqya. So your eyes, don't keep your eyes closed tight. You keep your eyes closed, you let it react. The eyes are going to start flickering around. And sometimes it's just the eyes. Sometimes it's just your eyes. So you have to be aware of this. It really takes a bit of experience when you're reading yourself a diagnosis. You learn, inshallah, you learn from it, but it's experience. It's just sometimes it's just the eyes just flicking around. You're only going to get the eyes. And sometimes you're weak, sometimes you get a feeling of wanting to open your eyes. So it's not actually flickering around, it's just I feel like opening my eyes. You know, that's what I felt. Okay? So sometimes you might get somebody who's just eyes are just flicking around and affected, you see. That's what you get. So you might find that the person with and the same thing with the sihr, you might find that you might get cold, you might feel hot, all right? You know, but you might start shaking. If you start shaking, that's a sign that there's a jinn there. So if you start shaking like this with the sihr, like this, and you relax your body, you find it's moving like this. Oh, there's a jinn with the sihr. I don't need to check for jinn now, because I know that moving like that, only jinn can do this like this. Only jinn can do that. This is not something stupid. Right? You got jinn. There's a jinn there. You know, your feet moving like this, and or the toes doing these funny things, hands doing these sort of funny things like this. That means this is something inside you. This is jinn. So you got jinn with possession. Sorry, sihr with possession. Sometimes I might find doing ayn like that as well. I'm reading ayn, I'm just checking for ayn. Or the person's reading for ayn and he's doing all this. He's shaking like that, then others. Ayn with possession. So somebody maybe looked at him and gave him, oh, that looks nice on you. And then the jinn goes in with it as well. So ayn and it hits them in the place. Sorry to put you out, but you know, it just hits you like this. Like that. So somebody is there and then boom, the jinn goes in and the ayn goes in with it. And like this, you see. So the diagnosis ayn will be like that. So what it is, there's no need for you to start reading the wrong list. Unfortunately, a lot of people, what they're doing, they treat the spiritual diseases like they do the physical diseases. Unfortunately, some Iraqis, they don't know this. When they diagnose you, you tell them what it is. Well, they give you a long list of things which could happen. Well, yes, it's a long list, brother. The list is very long. You know, it doesn't mean if you have all of these things you had. We don't base it. Don't treat the spiritual diseases like the physical diseases. Yes, spiritual disease, we look at all the symptoms. Okay, for diabetes, you feel thirsty, there's certain things the doctors look for. Halas, you got diabetes. They know you got diabetes. Because this is physical disease, not spiritual disease. For the spiritual disease, you don't do this. Okay, what you got is like this, is like this, is like this. Khalas, you've got sihr. No. You read the Ruqya, you have to read the Ruqya. So for everybody, when they read that Ruqya diagnosis, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel different. Somebody might move, arms move, somebody feels sick, somebody feels their body moving around. You might. So it's anything different from the reference point. And like I said to you, if you really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then He will definitely show you. If that heart is really connected with Allah, Ya Rabbi, show me if I got it, please. You know, if that's in your heart, that's the need in the heart, then you'll see that Allah is going to give you some reaction that when you stop, subhanallah, yeah, I've got it. You know in yourself that you got it, because you get a big reaction, and then when you stop, then you know it's gone. It might not necessarily be big one. It might just be something small, but when you feel it, you know it's something. So, subhanallah, what was that? Your eye, you feel something, you know, or you maybe while your eyes closed, you see eyes, different eyes. That's what some people see. They see eyes, and this is maybe the eye which actually hit them. They see like a static eye floating, round circle block, like then you got a dot in there. That's what they see. Some patients will see this. You see. So when they see this, they got eye. Or sometimes with the eye, they see something, and that's why it's important to keep the eyes closed. Some people say, can I keep my eyes open? I say, no, because we have to keep the eyes closed. Sometimes the eyelids will react, or sometimes you will actually see something. If you see something, you've got a spiritual disease. You know, you've got something, you've got what you're looking for. You see, sometimes you actually will see the jinn. When they close their eyes, when you do the ruqya, you will see the jinn standing there looking at you. A face, somebody's looking at that. And it's moving. It's not like static. What I'm talking about is a moving image like this. It means the person's got jinn inside them, and that's the jinn inside you. Or you might see an animal flying, or a cat, you know, doing something, fighting, going like this to you, like that, jumping, and you're doing this like this. It means that there's a jinn in you. We had one strange case. The strangest case I've ever dealt with was something like this, where the brother said, Saeed, every time I'm sleeping, I see these two figures, black figures, doing this to me. I'm sleeping. It's been like that 25 years. I says, oh, that's a jinn, that's strange. Well, every time you sleep, you get this? I say, yeah. He says, oh, that's very strange. And then so what we did with that brother, we read the Ruqya on him, and what we found out afterwards is that he did have jinn possession. What it was actually is that those things were actually, he had a jinn inside, which has been inside for years. For a long time, for the 25 years, imagine that, and it stayed with him. And what that was, that happened every night. This was the family of the child jinn. They're trying to take the family, they take him back. That's what that was all about. So when I started reading the Ruqya on him, he started reacting, and it's like the dreams, they're coming again. I said, then we looked at the whole situation, and he heard the jinn even speaking in his head, you see. You realize that this is what this is. I tell you, get out, I want to stay, I've been here for a long time, so get out, you need to get out. And then finally it went, and that's what we realized, that's what that was all about. You know? And then it went in the end, and they were, you know, and that's what actually was the parent trying to take it. So if you see something like that, and you're doing a ruqya, you see something like this happening to you, images, something is trying to attack you like that, then that's the jinn or jinni inside you. You see, that's what that is. Now, so that's basically ayn and sihr. Okay. With regards to, and you find that there's no difference really. You find that when you look at somebody's list of symptoms for ayn and symptoms for sihr, you see it's very close. That's right, it's very close. It can be. So that's why you get sometimes a lot of misdiagnosis. You see a lot of misdiagnosis. Somebody saying he's got sihr and he's not sihr. He's only got ayn, brother. He's only got ayn. He hasn't got sihr, brother. You see. You know, that's why don't worry, there's no need to memorize a long list. Just you know that there's some sort of reaction that's going to happen in your body. It's going to be strange. And Allah knows you all individually. Okay? Obviously Allah knows you. So you're asking Allah, show me something significant for me to believe that I've got the sihr, Ya Rabbi. That's what's your intention. So Allah will show you. That's why I'm not giving you a list of long things, because everybody's going to be different. For you, maybe a headache might not be so good for you. So, is that the headache I had yesterday? Maybe Allah will give you a type of headache you have, or something else, your pain you have, that you know that when you have it, subhanAllah, that you've got it. So it convinces you in your heart, because you're talking to Allah, you're asking Allah. So Allah will definitely show you what it is. If you got it, you've got it. You will know that you have it. There's no need to phone somebody and say to brother, this happened to me, my reaction. I said, did this happen to you before? So no, there's no need to phone around really. Some people that don't have the confidence to think that they've got it or not, but really when you do it sincerely to ask Allah, He will show you, He'll convince you in your heart that you've got that issue. Okay? Now for jinn possession, what it would be, for jinn possession, it will be you use Surah Nas and you come to the last ayah, min al-jinnati wal-nas. That's what you will keep repeating for jinn possession. And if you keep repeating that, especially that ghunna there, min al-jinnati wal-nas, that one there, when you find that some people min al-jinnati wal-nas, they start shaking at that point. There's a bit more reaction in the jinnati wal-nas. That jinnati, that's where they have a bit of a reaction when they're holding that min al-jinnati. You don't hold it long. Don't say min al-jinn. Don't do this. Read how it is supposed to be. The Quran is supposed to be read. Don't do these extra things with it. You see. Yes, it reacts. It's reacting to that the ghunna there, but don't make it longer now than what it is. So between two harakat. There's like leave it like that. Don't do more than what it is supposed to be. Okay. So that's how you work out jinn possession. One of the things about jinn possession, okay, is that sometimes usually what it is, you do find there's some muscle spasms or shaking you find the person has. It could be other issues, headache, could be vomiting or something like this. It could happen. But what we find most of the time is some sort of shaking the person has, and that's what we say. There's jinn there. You've got jinn, you've got jinn possession. Okay, the other thing, the last one for this, if you want to find out if you've got that bad waswas, okay, it's become like a disease in itself. Okay, when you use surah, الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس, you use that ayah and the ayah before it. So قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس. That ayah, you keep repeating those two ayahs. Maybe spend 10 minutes on the first ayah, okay, and then and then maybe another 10 minutes or 15 minutes on the other ayahs. On الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Keep repeating them, okay, until you get some reaction. With that one, what we have found, with that waswas, you find that again the eyes start moving around for that one. So sometimes it could just be the eyes. I remember when I was checking myself for that one, for me it would just be the eyes. My eyes will be moving. So, it's moving. So it's important when you're doing a diagnosis, check every part of your body, especially the eyes. The eyes seem to react. So the eyes, they react particularly for ayn and for this waswas. You find that they both react for those two. You see, those are the two that they react for. And that's basically it. So that'll be the 4 diagnoses that you will do on yourself. Okay. Like I said, you can use water. If you want to know how to use water with it, then you go to my website. There's the first video I've got there, Practical Self-Ruqya Part 1. You see how you can use water to do the diagnosis. If you want to work out how, you can do the same principle I've told you here. You can diagnose your children like that. But obviously, we're better if you can use Surah Fatiha as well for your children. So you can just use Surah Fatiha, read that for a while, 10-15 minutes even maybe, and then you come to the last ayah. What if you want to check for sihr? Surah Falaq, come to the ayah number 4 and you keep reading. And if the child gets a reaction, then you know the child has got, it's got sihr. You see. If you want more information regarding how to do that, then I've got a video for that one, Practical Self-Ruqya Part 3, and how to diagnose children and that, Okay, I have a question for you before we just finish off. I would have a question for you guys. Okay, so you're doing somebody does diagnosis of themselves. Okay, you don't answer the question, all right? Somebody does diagnosis of themselves. So they do sihr and they get a stomachache. They do the sihr because maybe he's eating the sihr, right? Then he does ayn. Same thing. Same diet. There's ayn diagnosis, get the same pain. He does jinn possession. Same pain. Okay? Exactly the same pain. Then he does the waswas condition. Same pain. What has the person got? You can tell me. What has he got? So for everything, he's got the same thing. It could be even, let's say headache. There's sihr, headache. Ayn, headache. Jinn possession, headache. Nothing else. Bad headache though. And then a waswas condition, headache. What has the person got? What's the diagnosis? Yes. Yes, he's got all four rolled down. That's correct. He's got all four. How do we know this? Why is this? All because of the niyyah. It is all down to the niyyah. Most of this thing, the ruqya, what's the most important thing? Is the niyyah. What is your intention? That's one of the first things I ask people. What was your intention? Brother, I did this and I was reading the ruqya and then I got this pain and this and that. Okay, what was your intention, brother? And then sometimes they tell you, I don't know, just ruqya. I said, we don't know what it is then. You've got something, definitely something is there because there's a reaction. But in order to find out what it is, we need to change the niyyah. Make the niyyah a bit more specific. Read just for the ain, brother. I mean, you're asking Allah to just attack the ain. So let's treat the ain basically. And we'll find out what's going on. Then we know what you've got, brother. You see? So yeah, well done, akhi. Yeah. So when you do like that, when you get a case like that, and this might happen to somebody, it might happen. And it's not happened too many times, but I had 1 or 2 cases like that. So I said, yeah, you've got all four, brother. You've got all four. You see? Okay, I'll open up the floor to questions now. So anybody have any questions?
You said that diagnosis, how do you treat it?
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, treatment. Yeah, treatment. Okay, treatment would be you just need to do depending on what you diagnose yourself with. Okay, very good question. Depending on what you diagnose yourself with. So if you just, it will all be down to intentions as well. Remember what I said at the beginning. The intention, the main intention is that you're doing the ruqya. Why? So you can get back to worshipping Allah properly. That's the main reason you're doing this ruqya for. So you can worship Allah properly again. So if you've got intentions for sihr, then you ask Allah, Ya Rabbi, cure me from all of the sihr, so I can get back to worshipping you properly again. So that's when this is your intention in your heart. You don't say the intention, it just happens in your heart. You know that there. Okay? And then if you go to my website, you've got like these 7 intentions there. And so it's all to do with intentions. You see? So you ask Allah to cure from all the sihr, so you can worship Him properly. You ask Allah to cure you from all of the ain. You know, so you can worship Him properly. You ask Allah to cure you from all of the jinn possession, so that you can worship Him properly. You ask Allah to, cure you from all of the waswas conditioning that you suffer from, so that you can worship Him properly. You ask Allah to cure from any other illness that maybe you're suffering from. You see, you can ask Allah to destroy any jinns inside you, burn any, destroy, kill the jinns inside you, Ya Rabbi. Also, I can get back to worshiping you properly. Okay. You can ask Allah. You ask Allah to destroy what we call it from experience. You ask Allah to destroy these connections you have. Because what we have found, when somebody has sihr, so I'll give you an example. So somebody in front of me has sihr, and I've got the ta'weed in front of me here. When I'm breaking it up, I'm reading Surah Falaq last week, you see the patient is jumping, and he's affected by this. So I said, yeah, this is for you, brother. Because he's affected, because there's a connection between it. And when we sometimes get the ruqya water, we spray between the two, you find he's jumping. So you hold the ta'weed here, and you spray here. You find the patient, maybe a bit more further down when we're at the end of there, you find he's jumping. So there's a connection here. So what happens, you see, you ask Allah, so this is part of your illness. Okay. We've even found a connection between somebody who gives you hasad, alright, and this as well. So when you find somebody, you find that there's a connection between them. The person, so you spray the ruqya water, there's something there. See, we had one case where this hasad problem, where the husband, where the wife's a woman upset with the woman, the wife marrying this husband. She wanted to marry the husband. So what happened? She gave hasad to the sister. All right? And then, because sometimes you can work out who's giving you the hasad. Because not from the hadith or when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam does Sahabi, okay, who's done this? Maybe it's, we think maybe this person. So when you ask the patient, what do you think, sister? What do you think? It could be this, okay, maybe you got hasad, it could be this person, yes. This could be maybe the one who's done it, giving you anger. So that's when you're supposed to go ask the person for the water, wash with it. This person's not going to give the water. So what we find is when you spray between this person and this person, the person somewhere else, you've got something there, there's some sort of connection between you both. You check between her and her husband, there's something there. You spray the ruqya, they're both affected by this. So what I did in this situation is, I'm going to get rid of this. The brother now is affected by the ayn from this woman. So it's hit there and it's come towards this person. So what I said, okay, sister, make ghusl for your husband. So we got the sister to wash. She washed herself and she gave the water to her husband and he washed. And he got better. You check for that line now, gone. It's gone. So I heard this is why ayn is very bad. You know why we say ayn is worse than the sihr? You know how a lot of there's a hadith about most of our ummahs after the qadr of Allah is going to be there is the ayn. Ayn is terrible. Hasad is part of ayn. It's something coming from the eyes hitting the person. So there's two types of ayn. We could say there's ayn which is that for amazing. You know, you'll be somebody's surprised at something. Oh, that looks nice. That looks nice on you. Bang, gives you ayn. It could also be, oh, that looks very ugly. It gives you the ayn. It gives you the ayn. And there's also the one which is envy. Hasad, they don't like it. So this hasad, though, it doesn't happen for the other ayn, which actually doesn't, for the amazing eye, you don't get this connection. But for hasad, there's a connection. So it's important when you do your ruqya that you make this intention. Now, if there's any connections here as well, get rid of these things. Because it's going to make the ruqya harder for you. So sometimes what I say to patients is, you read your ruqya on yourself, with just you need Surah Falaq and Nas. Read 20 minutes a day. Okay, 20 minutes a day, Surah Falaq and Nas. And also spray ruqya water in front of you as well. The ruqya water here. To break these connections between people and the ta'weed and this. Break this connection. Break this connection. Because sometimes you can't find this ta'weed. You're not going to find it. Okay? You need to spray here to get this connection off. Okay, you need to do this. And because sometimes if you give hasad, you find that you can check for that as well. If you want to do the diagnosis, so I just gave you general ayn. Now that ayn is not, you just got ayn. It could be ayn which is, oh, that looks nice on you. Okay, it could also be ayn which is hasad, which is for you, giving you maybe now jealousy. So you have to read now. You can read with that intention to check yourself for that one. You know. You can check yourself with this. And you can also check yourself to see if you're connected with these connections. You'll find this. Now these things are not bid'ah. Why? Because it's illness. And illness can never be bid'ah. I've tried to tell, brother, this is strange, I've never heard of this before. Brother, you know that we know there's connection between the ta'weed and the person. We know this, brother. Don't do it. He said, yes. All I'm telling you, brother, you just spray ruqya water on it, get this connection off. That's all I'm saying. It is there, brother. One of the reasons why I got cured very quickly is because I did this. I sprayed the water between the two and I was reading ruqya, getting rid of this off. I'm reading ruqya on myself and I'm spraying ruqya and I got this. When it's cut off, no more reaction when you put the water there, khalas, it's gone. Where is it? It was here, actually, it was this side, wasn't it? This side. I used to, bad reactions when I put the ruqya water there. Very bad. As I'm shaking badly when I do that. I spray here, nothing. Ruqya water here, nothing. I put the ruqya water here, I'm getting reactions. There's something there. But I do my ruqya, I keep doing my treatment. In the end, it's gone. Where is it? It has gone. Alhamdulillah, it's gone. So then this is one of the reasons why then the jinn became very weak. Then I was able to take it out, put hijab, and I took it out. I felt much better. You see? Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do. So you're supposed to throw the water on yourself, read on these things, throw the water on it, get rid of these things. And all you need when you're doing your ruqya is this Surah Falaq and Nas. All you need is Surah Falaq and Nas. Another important treatment, which is very important, is you try to get hijama done. Okay, you get hijama done. Hijama with ruqya at the same time, which I call like gene extraction technique. You use hijama. Okay, make intentions with the hijama. Now hijama, many people do hijama, but they don't make no intentions with it. What we have found from this is experience. When you make intentions, it makes a big difference. When you do ruqya to treat the sihr with the hijama, make intention for I'm asking Allah to help me with the sihr. It makes a big effect. A lot of hijamas, when you go to them, if you just go to them like this, they'll treat you like they're not making no intention for sihr. So then it makes a problem. If you make intention that you're trying to remove the sihr and the jinn, then it makes a big difference. When you make that intention, when you're cutting, when you're pumping it all out, these intentions are there. If these intentions are there, it makes a big difference with the treatment. So you're supposed to get this treatment done, regularly done. And that's how one of the reasons why I got cured, because I used hijama. I found out what it was. I make intention to take it out, to take the jinns out, to take it. You have to make intentions. If you don't make intentions, it doesn't work. For more about this procedure, you can go onto my website and you can find the gene extraction technique. And I was talking to someone recently regarding this issue. There's some people, oh, what is this? This is new. This is new. Look, hijama can never become bid'ah. It's not an act of worship. Hijama is not act of worship, brother. So sometimes what we found sometimes is that using the green laser, the jinni doesn't like it. The green laser you use, okay, don't put it in your face. But we found, oh, Saeed, this is bid'ah. This is treatment, brother. Some of the ulama said, you get sidr. You know sidr leaves? The sidr leaves, I think we use sometimes washing the dead body. These leaves, some ulama found that when they wash with it, it helps the sihr. Yes, it does. The jinn doesn't like it. Is there any hadith about this? No hadith about it. Is it bid'ah? No, it's not bid'ah because it's not act of worship. When you're not going to study in a fiqh class, sidr and laser, and you're not going to do this. You're not going to study that. So we have to understand the difference between treatment and ruqya is act of worship. We can't change the ruqya, but these things you take, doing hijama, using the laser sometimes for yourself, eating certain herbs and spices, they help you. You find that some things help. You can try these things out. If they help you, they're good. There's no problem. You can never be with that. Because it's not work. You don't worship Allah with the hijama. Yes, you can make intention, it becomes ibadah, yes. But I'm just on its own, it's not an act of worship. You see. Hope that's clear. Is that okay? But for more information about treatment, if you go to my website, then you can go on there, you've got the self-treatment notes. You read there and it tells you about all of the things you can do. Recently what we found, sorry to cut off, okay. We found, subhanAllah, truffles. Now in the hadith it says in Bukhari, if you use truffles, which are like a fungus, like a mushroom which grows under the ground, if you take this, the water from it helps the ayn. These things are very expensive. So one patient said to me, Saeed, you know what I did? He said, I used the mushrooms. The normal mushrooms you wash with this, it said, they helped me a lot, Saeed. I said, really? So I told another patient, wash with it, do this, and they drank it, and they got better with it. Even myself, I benefit from this. Now I'm cured from all of the ayn. All of the ayn, alhamdulillah, is gone. When I read the ruqya, nothing. But what I have got, because this is why ayn is so dangerous, I've still got some little problem the ayn caused me. I know, because I know the ayn caused that problem for me, that stomach problem. It is better, but the ayn caused this damage. Sometimes the ayn can make the physical, because the ayn, it can make physical diseases. Even sihr and jinns, they make physical diseases. So they can cause cancer, cause diabetes, cause other skin issues, scratching problems, eczema, acne. A lot of problems ayn can cause you. Allergies, asthma. Ayn can do a lot of problems. See. So sometimes when somebody will cure themselves from all of the ayn, they still have some remaining issues. So what I did myself, I said, I'm going to try this as well. Let me see what happens. And it benefited me. I said, I feel better with this. So that's one of the things, so treatment is quite open. Anything which is going to benefit you. The Sharia doesn't stop you doing this. Just like, remember, the Sharia doesn't make a difference between the physical diseases and the spiritual diseases. So what has happened in Ummah, I don't know what has happened, that we've become like focusing on these physical things. But we're not focusing on these diseases where we should be making development with these things. So we have new treatments and new different things people are doing to help the Ummah in these areas, you see. But unfortunately, there's not much development in this area, sadly, you see. Yes, Bobby, what was your question?
Just to clarify, bro, what's the difference between the hasad and the ayn?
The hasad is like evil eye of envy. So when somebody is jealous, like what I said with that sister who's jealous of that other sister marrying that husband. I wanted to marry that husband, and she gives something happens, and it affects that sister. Something happens. Something like comes from the eyes, and it hits the person. Hits the person, and the person's affected. Okay, so it's the evil eye of envy. So it's because you're envious of somebody, and that's what. So it's ayn, but it's type of ayn. What is it? It's envious. The other ayn is like when you've got like evil eye of amazement. That eye is like, oh, that looks nice on you, Saeed. That looks very nice, and they can give you ayn like this, so your friends can give it to you, or you yourself can give it to you. That's the evil eye of amazement. That hits you. And like I said, sometimes that eye could be something because I treated one person like that because of their disability, no arms or something like that. Some people get shocked like that, and they might give them ayn because of this. That shockness, that amazing part that gives you the ayn. You see, so it's not like only on people who looks very nice. It can happen on this will obviously depend on the person. If somebody looks at somebody, oh, that person looks a bit strange, they can give you the ayn. You see, Is that okay, brother? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Once the sihr network has been cut off, is it possible for them to reconnect it? Even if the person is doing adhkar,
Again, this is up to Allah. You can get, even if you get cured from sihr, the person can do sihr, and again, it's up to Allah. All this is up to Allah. Yes, what we have found some cases. My case, it didn't happen to me. When this thing got cut off, so when I sprayed the Ruqya water there, no more reactions. It is gone. Sometimes what could happen, some patients we have found that the Sahel is again made the connection again. So the person's got the connection again, and he's got the sihr problems again. And this is through this line, it seems that Allah knows us. This is how they send the jinn to you. So somebody could be somewhere else, and then they send the jinn to you because you're in Australia, and somebody else is in America. From this line, this is how they send the jinn to you. So yes, it could be cut off. Somebody could get cut off, but then the Sahidi could make it connected again. You see, So, you know, and also what could happen, also we need to say here, is that even if sometimes you are disconnected from the ta'wil, okay, so you're disconnected. So that's why it's important, before you start searching, I said, brother, are you connected to a ta'wil? Are you connected to Sayyidina? Are you connected? Check yourself, see, read the Ruqya, see. Sometimes you read the Ruqya and say, no, there's no reaction. Say, khalas. Don't look for the ta'wil, you don't need it now, because you've not got it. So why are you wasting, you spend so much time doing this. You wasted your time, you don't need to do this now. Don't look for it now, because you're not connected. There's no connection. You don't get benefit from that, from what we have seen. From experience again, from our experience, you've disconnected yourself from there. Yes, when you read, they read Ruqya on themselves again still. They got sihr, but there's no point from what we've seen from experience to go searching for that thing. You see, because you've disconnected yourself from it. Any other questions?
What's the difference between jinn attraction and jinn catching?
Oh, there's a big difference. Jinn catching here is where they're actually calling on the jinn. They're calling on the jinn. So when they're reading the Ruqya, they're calling the jinn to come into the person, and they're going to put and the Ruqya is not really on the patient. It's on what they call the catcher. So they're catching jinns and they're putting jinns inside somebody. Okay. So when you look at it, when you break it, it looks like a type of sihr, and shirk is involved, because what's happening? They're asking the jinn for help. So what happens when the jinn starts talking? They start speaking to it, asking questions. Okay, is the sihr finished now? No, not finished now. Keep reading Ruqya. Okay, and I keep reading Ruqya. Okay, is it finished now? So they're using the vision of the jinn to help to know if the sihr is cured. We don't need to ask the jinn anything. And they ask the jinn questions about, okay, what is happening? Is the person there? Is the sihr in the whole family? And they ask all of these questions are to the jinn inside the catcher. It's not by reading Ruqya. It is all of this by asking this jinn, these questions. So when you ask jinns too many questions, you end up doing shirk. Especially the main shirk, which I've seen them do, is that last part, is where they're asking the jinn for help with the vision of the jinn. Okay, what do you see, jinn? I see this and I see that. Is it finished yet? No, it's not finished. So that assistance there. So how do you know the person is cured? According to them, is when the jinn says, yes, khalas, the sihr is finished. No, jinn could be lying. You see, the jinn could be lying. So that's jinn catching. Now I've written an article on that one. There's other reasons why it's bid'ah and shirk. They're reading the intention to speak to the jinn. We don't need to speak to jinn. So the intention, part of the intention is reading Ruqya so they can talk to the jinn. No, the Ruqya is not for talking to jinn. Ruqya is treatment and is for diagnosis. It's not for talking to the jinn, making the jinn come up and start speaking to them. We don't need to talk to jinn. You see, the thing with the jinn extraction, what is that? That's just taking hijama, and our extraction is just taking the jinn out with hijama. That was to make the intention to take the jinn with hijama. That is it. So there's clearly a big difference. I'm not talking to the jinn when I'm doing it. I don't care about the jinn. I want to take it out and kill it. That's it. So there's a big difference where they are using the jinn and using the assistance of the jinn, which is shirk, and jinn extraction. We're not doing any bid'ah or shirk there. You're using hijama you're just making the intention to take it out. And like I said, making some intentions now with the hijama doesn't make it shirk or bid'ah or anything like that. Why? Because hijama itself is not an act of worship in itself, you see. Is that okay, bro? You want more information? I've written something wrong on that jinn catching. You know, you can look at that, brother, inshallah ta'ala. Any other questions?
How long does it normally take when you start doing it on yourself?
So how long does it usually take to get cured from doing these things? Okay, in general, what we have seen, this is Daniel's experience, from my experience, limited experience. When the person has, because when you look at the person, the reason why they've got this problem first, it's only two reasons. Either it's a punishment from Allah, okay, so they come back to the religion maybe, or what we have found is that Allah is just like a test, just to make them closer to Allah, make them closer, make them stronger to Allah. And that's what we've seen. It's two reasons. Once you find, when the patients find out, because they know themselves, the patients, they know that they got this problem because they were drinking alcohol or doing zina. Once they stop these sins, they find within a few months they're cured from the problem they had, the jinn possession, the sihr is cured. That's what we have seen. Other situations when the person maybe has more iman, and it's not because of sins why Allah has decreed it for them, just to raise their status. Because remember, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had sihr. It's not because of obviously for sins. So there's an increase in iman. You find that a person gets closer to Allah. He gets higher position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people, it takes a little bit longer, 6 months, a year, what we've seen in general. But these averages, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Some people are doing Ruqya a little bit longer than that, you see, yeah. I hope that's clear. Any other questions? Is there any question from the sisters? No question.
Just want to say, if the jinns have come through Ayn,
Yeah.
let's say sihr jinns come through Ayn, do you have to get rid of the Ayn first before the sihr is cured?
So the person's got ayn, say it again?
So let's say he's got a sihr jinn that's come through Ayn.
Alright, okay.
So is there a connection? Do you have to get rid of the Ayn first, or?
What we have seen from experience, I tell you, because this again, reading on people, we had one case where we just reading for sihr. So we don't know the person's got ayn. And then reading for the sihr. And it just sort of stopped. We hit a barrier. We hit a barrier and we weren't getting any results. What's happening? The genie is making noise, it was effect. No, stop. So then we said, okay, we read, there's no more reactions now. So no more what happened, what we did, we realized, okay, let's maybe we've got ayn, and then start reading for ayn, and then we got reactions again. Then we realized, look, it seems that the ayn is blocking the sihr. You see, there seems to be, maybe this is the issue. So sometimes, ayn, from what we've seen experience, ayn can block the sihr treatment. So it's important to treat the ayn and the sihr, not just don't treat ayn first of all, and then treat the sihr. No, treat them both at the same time. We did do this once. We would treat this ayn first of all, and then go back to treat the sihr. So look, we're wasting our time. Let's do both of them at the same time. So that's what we do now. We just put, this is experience. We do both of them at the same time, and that's when we got better results. So in your situation, no, there's no need to do treat the sihr, ayn first of all, and then treat the sihr, even if the ayn is, the jinns come through that. No, we just treat both of them at the same time.
So 7 intentions together.
They get all together, all intentions to get rid of it. Ayn and sihr, asking Allah for this ayn, cure the person with the ayn, cure the sihr, everything out of it, all of it. Don't just focus on the ayn. How do we know? Because we're not just from experience. Remember, only when we waste our time. What are we doing? Allah can get rid of the ayn and the sihr at the same time. Yeah, let's do both of them then. So then we read on both of them, What are we doing, doing it like that for, you see? Yeah. Okay, is there any other questions?
So, brother, so I'm not sure if I missed it, but you mentioned hijama for gel extraction.
Yeah.
That's the treatment for. So, what was the treatment for sihr and ayn?
No, we had the same thing. The hijama is.
So
You make the intention. I did it on my daughter.
just change the intention.
Just change your intention. Now you're treating. You must treat the ayn. Make the intention.
Oh, so
Make the intention. You treat the. You read Ruqya and you read Ruqya in the patient. And you, oh, really? When you're treating the ayn, even a person just got ayn. I did it on my daughter. What I was waiting for my daughter is that my daughter had ayn for a long time. I was trying to just wait. And I realized, I'm going to try this treatment on her. And it worked. Make the intention, make the hijab with intention. Do intention, don't just aimless. I know why some people have a problem. Saeed, they said they don't like what you're doing. All I'm saying is make intentions. I didn't say do anything else. They would just want to make, what are you doing? I don't know, I'm just doing something. I'm just doing hijama. No, it's not good, don't just do hijama. Do intention that you're treating the ayn, you see a big difference. Do intention that you're attacking the jinn when you do that and when you're doing the hijama. You see a big difference in the person. Big change, you see big change. Not just like, I'm just doing hijama, It makes a big difference. So you can use hijama for everything, all of the spiritual diseases. You see, you can use it. Any other questions? Or shall I start doing this one? Is it possible that a human can be used as ta'weed for a sihr network? Well, what we have found is that sometimes Allah knows best. It seems that you got the patient who has the sihr, and it seems that the ta'weed will be there, and it seems that the sahid gets affected. So when you read Ruqya, you try to break this, you find that the sahid sometimes get. I remember I was reading once on the person was trying to spray water to get rid of this thing. The one they know who did the sihr, he can't say, oh, what are you doing? What we're doing. How does he know? Maybe jinn have told him. He's affected by what we're doing. Okay, so they contact him. They get in contact. What are you doing? You're doing something, can't you? So besides they contact me, he's contacting me. So leave him. So they get affected by this. You see? Now, is it possible that a human can be used as a ta'weed? Well, we know that sometimes they put the thing inside the dead bodies. They put the ta'weed, they put it inside the dead bodies, open them up, put it inside, and the ta'weed gets buried inside the person. You see? So to be honest, but I don't know about a live human being used as a ta'weed. I've not really come across this. I've not really come across this. Is it possible for them to hide the ta'weed in a human person? Yes, possibly, I would say, maybe. These people, you know what they're doing with this thing. And that's why it's important to study this thing a little bit, what they're doing, because they're always changing. Now you see the Saeed uses photographs to make them do the sihr. You need to keep up with what they're doing, because you need to be aware of these things. And talking about these things is not bid'ah or shirk anyway. You're trying to find out what's wrong with the person so you can help them. Just like the doctor will try to find out what's wrong with this person. Is there inside your stomach, where's the sihr? I need to find out these things. All these informations and trying to work out what is wrong with the person, describing the sihr. This is not bid'ah, because this is all part of it. Just like the physical diseases, we describe it, cancer is like this, it does this, it does this. We need to understand these things, these spiritual diseases properly so we can help people. Okay? But this one, sister, to be honest, I don't know if that's possible, I have to say. Maybe it is possible, I don't know.
It's related to what the question is saying, is it possible that at the end of the sihr network, instead of a ta'weez, it's a jinn, or the Saeed himself? Maybe is that what she means?
That's what we think it is. I don't know. If that's what she's saying,
so it could be either of those.
It could be. We know that sometimes there's the ta'weed there, and then there's the Saeed there, and then there's the patient there. That's what it seems to be like this. So the human can be part of that network. There's no doubt about that. The network, yes, it can be. Okay. If a person doesn't pray at all, does it mean he is affected? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Yes, it could be because he's got sihr or something like that, but it doesn't mean, it could be maybe he doesn't have anything as well. With the issue of this problem, the only way you're going to find out if it is that you've got to tell the person to start praying. Because you can't do ruqya in a person like this. Because what happens, I've seen two cases, we've got cases like this. Sometimes the ruqya, you get extreme, the jinn comes up, it's like, chaos. Or sometimes what happens is the ruqya or dua is not accepted by Allah. Because they've got too many sins. So there's no reaction. So then the person who doesn't pray, that's why I don't like, when I see somebody who's got this, don't do ruqya on them. Get them to pray first of all. Because you know what happens? I tell you what happens. When you read ruqya and it happens that they don't get no reactions, see? No problem. I can carry on doing what I'm doing. That's what happens. So they don't carry on praying. They don't think, subhanAllah, I better start praying. I ask Allah to help me. They don't do that. So that's why when you see somebody like this, don't read ruqya on them by thinking, I'll read ruqya on them, he'll get reaction, and then he's going to start praying. No, it might not be like this. It might be that he does get no reaction, and he just says, see, I told you, I'm alright, And he will carry on. He's not going to stop. Okay. How does hijama help with jinn possession? Well, what we found hijama never sounds as a cure for everything. It's a cure, What we have found, sometimes it takes the jinn out. I've had cases where I would do it on somebody, we take it. There's jinn there because the person's reactive. We do this. No jinn. It's gone with the hijama. It's come out. It's come out with the hijama. So sometimes what can happen, you can take the jinn out completely out. It comes out. Sometimes what happens, you do it, the jinn dies inside. Sometimes the jinn dies inside. Sometimes what happens is the jinn gets damaged inside. So hijama is a wonderful thing. Patients should always do it regularly. And I would say you do it on the 17th, the 19th, and the 21st of the month. On a regular basis during. And I don't mean any hijama. I mean the hijama which I talk about, right? I do that using intentions behind it. Okay, do intentions behind it. Okay, is the jinn extracted? Sometimes yes, the jinn is extracted. Or does it help to weaken the jinn? Both. Sometimes it's extracted, sometimes it weakens the jinn. Sometimes it weakens the jinn. And sometimes it kills the jinn. Okay, next question. When performing hijama on a patient, is it essential to read ruqya on them, especially if they are just there for sunnah hijama and have no symptoms? No, there's no important. You don't need to do that. Don't start treating jinn possession and say, why are you doing that if they haven't got that? Isn't it? Have you ever gone to the doctor and then you sit in front of them and he just says, I'll give you this, take this, hold. Does that ever happen to the doctors? No, he will try to diagnose you, isn't it? So we never do treatment if you don't. Why are you wasting your time doing this? Making precautions in this and that, and being worried, okay, I need to make sure I got my card and this and this. Okay, You don't treat it. If he hasn't got the problem, then there's no need to treat it. You see, so what you should do, if he hasn't got it, there's no need for you to do Ruqya. Why you need to? If you want to do Ruqya, because Ruqya is, treating the problem he has, maybe he has some issue, diabetes, and you're doing hijama, yeah, there's no problem, do the hijama, and do Ruqya on him, you can do this, that's okay, you can do that if you want to. But what I'm saying is, if the person's got no jinn, and you're treating him for jinn, and he's got no jinn, you see, so when performing hijama is on a patient, is it essential to read Ruqya? No, it's not essential, not wajib to read it on the patient, no, okay? So you don't have to read it if you don't want to. Especially if they are just there for sunnah hijama and have no symptoms. Then you don't need to just do the sunnah hijama with them. There's no need for you to do anything else on them. See, if you perform diagnosis on someone and the jinn reacts, do you continue reading? No, you don't continue reading. I say, what do you mean by reacts? If you mean reacts, 2, 3. If it's reacts, which is, you see the shaking and you know the person's got reaction, then you can stop, because this is diagnosis now, this is not treatment. It's something I forgot to mention in the talk. The difference between diagnosis and treatment is the diagnosis that you're asking others to show you signs. The treatment, the intention is there, you're asking others to cure the problem. So what we find with the two, that with the diagnosis, there's more reactions. Because that's what you're asking Allah for, show me, and then he shows you. With the treatment, there's not much reactions. You find out because you're asking, hey, it's not, the jinn is not moving too much now. You don't find much reactions. So, if the jinn does react, and you get a good reaction, you can stop the ruqya. So you got jinn possession, brother, stop, because this is not treatment now. There's no need for you to finish the 30 minutes. After 10 minutes, you get big reaction. You get reaction. The arm is moving. Khalas, stop now. So yeah, you got jinn possession, brother. Then maybe now you can change the intention. Ask Allah to cure them from the jinn possession now. Change the intention. See, change the intention now. Okay. So you don't need to carry on reading it. You need to. It's better to stop. Where are we? Also, you're going to stop when you've got big reaction of the jinn. The jinn is there talking, speaking. Khalas, don't need to carry on reading now, brother. You stop reading. And and when you got that sort of reaction, you hold the patient down, so they can't harm themselves, because now the jinn is there. You just wait, you keep calling the person back, Abdullah, 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 Abdullah. And then slowly the patient will come back. Slowly the patient will come back. But really, you shouldn't find yourself in this position. Can anybody tell me why? You shouldn't find yourself really in this position. It should only be very rarely something which you weren't expecting. Why shouldn't you find yourself in this position when you're reading Ruqya diagnosis? Anybody?
Because you're supposed to have a strong iman and you shouldn't come out.
That's right, bro. Yeah, it's all like, you mean strong iman with no sins. There's no sins. So before you go to read on a person, are you praying, brother? No. No Ruqya for you. Until you start praying, then we can do this. Are you wearing hijab, sister? No. Not wearing hijab, no. Because you don't want to be dealing with that. Because yes, that can be dangerous. The jinn is coming up and fighting you and stuff. If you're not ready to deal with this, don't put yourself in this situation. You see, avoid that. And how you avoid that? Because look, start praying, brother. Start wearing hijab properly. Oh, but they do Ruqya on the kuffar, the hadith. Yes, we know this. But this was not jinn possession. This was not jinn possession. This is the scorpion's thing. You see? Because they will tell you this. They'll say, I want the Ruqya, I want the Ruqya. No. You start praying, brother. Alright? And then we'll come back to you, okay? Alright? So in those sort of situations, it's better to as soon as the jinn starts speaking, stop. And if you've made their clothes wet because the Ruqya water is on their clothes, get rid of those clothes, because what's going to happen? That Ruqya water is burning the jinn. So it's going to keep talking until you get that cloth off from them, and then dry them, and then keep calling the person Abdullah, 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 and Fatima, and then the person will come back. Okay, the person will come back. Okay, so if you perform diagnosis on someone and the jinn reacts, do you continue reading like we just said, no? And if so, for how long, and can it affect you as the person performing the ruqya on them? Well, it won't really affect you. If you've done your adhkar, you know what you're doing, you're sincerely doing this only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake, just to help your Muslim brothers so they can go back to worshiping Allah properly, you see Allah's going to help you. It's not going to affect you one bit, inshallah ta'ala. If you really do this for Allah, Allah's with you. I've seen it. The people I've seen who do ruqya, who are not taking any money, they're not into, they do all of that, they're just doing this to help their Muslim brother. I've seen it. I've not seen them being, they're not affected. It's all protection from Allah. They're not affected by the jinns. they're not affected by it. They don't have any problems, you know. That's why I've seen those sort of people who just do it like that. If you do it like this, you're not taking any money, you're just doing it fi sabilillah, you're trying to help your Muslim brothers and sisters, you won't get affected by this. So the person afterwards won't get affected. The person, the patient themselves, when you call them, yes, it might take a few minutes, sometimes half an hour, depending on how strong their iman is. So if the person's got too many sins, then when you're trying to, Abdullah's got a lot of sins, and it takes a long time for the jinn to come, it takes a long time for them to come back. It takes a long time, okay? Yes.
So follow up on that, let's say a person just gets pain in the left leg for each of the ailments. And let's say the reference point only changes for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or a minute, and then it goes back to how it was. Is that sufficient?
That is sufficient if the person has got a good reference point.
Yeah.
They established a good reference point for a long time. Sometimes what I tell people to do, when they've done a lot of ruqya on themselves, obviously when you've done a lot of ruqya, the sihr becomes better. You feel that the reactions now, the jinn is not moving so much because the jinn is getting weaker. You're getting better. So your reactions to the diagnosis, it shows you that's one of the ways you know you're getting better. And again, this is another reason why you should do diagnosis. How do you know you're getting better? Because when you read the diagnosis now, you find it before, yes, I had big headache, I was moving really long. Now I'm not moving too much, it's only a little bit. Before it was like this. Now you see he's only moving a little bit now. See, this is why you see. So you can say, what can we say? You're getting better, brother. You see. So once you find you're like in that sort of state, what you find is that you have to tell the person, look, brother, I think make the reference point a little bit longer. Wait 15 minutes, lie down, relax, and then read the ruqya. And then if you feel something, then you will feel something. Because it really, so that 30 seconds of pain or something like that, this is enough. I mean, for myself, all I was getting when I was to check for that was just my eyes was moving. My eyes were moving a little bit. Oh, yes, it's moving, and then it would stop. So I only have that, and that'll be maybe for a minute or so, and then it will stop. Once you get clear reaction, there's no need for you to go on further. So sometimes somebody might do they read ruqya 5 minutes, then after 5 minutes they get pains in their heads, pain, and then that's it, and then they carry on reading ruqya. Oh, that's it, you've done it. There's no need to carry on now for up to the 30 minutes. You can if you want to, but if you really ask Allah to show you got it, then He's going to show you, and you're not going to have a problem with this. This is, again, remember, this is a relationship. This is ibadah between you, and this is an act of worship between you and Allah. You ask Allah, Allah is going to show you. So if you're in doubt, now make dua. If you can't know what's going on, if you're still confused by it, okay, then when you finish, you're a little bit confused, then make dua, Ya Rabbi, help me, please, with this ruqya diagnosis. Help me, show me, please help me. You ask Allah sincerely, He will show you, inshallah ta'ala. And He will give you a reaction, and you will say, yes, I've got it, I know I've got it still, you know. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, right. Okay, the last question from sisters. Okay, can the diagnosis have a negative impact or make anyone's symptoms or condition worse? Okay? No. It's just going to make you be aware that you've got something. That's why I'll say to you, when you've got the clear reactions, why you read it for 30 minutes, brothers? You've got the reactions after 20 minutes, that's it, you've got the stomach pain, yeah, it was very bad, Saeed. Good, this is good sign from you. Allah's showing that you've got sihr, brother. You've got sihr, now you stop, you know you've got it. And it won't make it worse, it's just Allah showing you that you've got it. You've asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show you you've got sihr, then He shows you, and it's clear, and it won't make the situation worse than what it is. Sometimes you find, and people need to understand this point, they go to a Raqi for the first time. Usually, to be honest, what the Raqi is doing, maybe he doesn't tell you, he's doing diagnosis on you. So the first 15 minutes or something like that, alright, or 20 minutes, or maybe for the whole session is diagnosis. So he reads for sihr, and he says, yes, you've got sihr. Then he reads for ayn, maybe, use those ayahs, okay? And then he maybe reads for jinn possession. He says, oh, you got jinn possession. And all of that was diagnosis. So that somebody's thinking that I'm going to feel better when I go there. Sometimes you don't. Why? Because the need of the Raqi, what is it? It's diagnosis. It's not treating you. You see? So sometimes when you go to a Raqi, what you should say, look, I already know. If you want to go, better to do your own Raqi. But if you do, or you take someone, look, we know he's got sihr. Please read for sihr, for treatment. Asking Allah to, don't ask to see the reactions. Or to check him, we've already done this. We know he's got sihr. Please read with treatment intention, please. Okay? So in reality, no, it doesn't really affect you. There's no negative effects or no impact on it. Its only negative effects, maybe impact, is when a person has got sins. So the jinn starts speaking and causing some chaos or something like that. Yes, that's if you've got strong iman, then and you've got no sins, and you do it properly, there's no negative effect. How can ruqya be negative? How can asking Allah, how can the dua have negative consequences? Just like we had the question the other day was, brother, can a pregnant woman do the ruqya on herself? Yes, definitely. There's even a fatwa in the. If you go to Islam QA, you read it. Somebody saying if you read Surah Al-Quran, if you read this, you make the miscarriage. How can it make miscarriage? This can't make miscarriage. It won't make miscarriage. If the person got iman, you trust in Allah, the Quran was sent down as a cure. Quran is not sent down to do. Ruqya is not dangerous. Whoever has this feeling, and some people have got this idea, misconception, that ruqya is a dangerous thing. No, it's not dangerous. You're only asking now for dua. There's no side effects. So you can read ruqya on anybody who's got cancer, who's got other treatments. Yes, you have to be careful. Maybe if you give him habatus, you give him honey, maybe it's not good for this patient. But ruqya, reading ruqya, no side effects. 100% from Allah, and it's not going to cause any problems. The only times when it could be a problem for somebody, okay, who's pregnant, okay, is if she's got weak iman. What do I mean that? I mean that when you read the ruqya, the jinn comes, and it starts punching, boom, boom, starts punching the stomach, the jinn now. Yeah, because the person's got sin. It's not because of the ruqya, brother. It's not because of the ruqya. This is, we shouldn't have done the ruqya, you see, astaghfirullah, you done a bad thing. No. It is that person's sins. This is what's caused this problem. So the sins that cause this jinn to have power. So that's why it is important, make sure if you're going to read on a sister who's pregnant, okay, make sure she's got no sins. Make sure you've got no sins and she's close to Allah. If she's close to Allah and she's got no sins, then the ruqya can never be harmful to her.
Okay. So brother, if you do ruqya on yourself and your jinn comes out, how do you control yourself?
Okay, well,
You said that
if it happens, number one, first, it shouldn't happen. Why? Because you should know that you've got strong iman. But just say it happens, because sometimes I remember there was some, they don't feel like smoking is haram. I had one case like that, person just, they're smoking. They don't think it's haram. So then they think, it's okay, it's only smoking. Only smoking signs. They don't think maybe it's serious. No, this is a serious. In fact, it's serious. You know why we know it's serious? It seems that Allah knows best, the jinn, they eat this stuff. When you're smoking, they're eating it as well. Because when the Sahiri does, sometimes we've known them Sahiri becomes Muslim again afterwards, so he does tawbah and he comes back. He will tell you that, when I was getting the jinn, I would burn things and I would give them this smoke. They would eat the smoke. So so maybe this, Allah knows, maybe that's why sometimes people smoke so much, is because there's a jinn inside them eating that stuff. You see? So if it comes up, so what were you supposed to do? Then stop the ruqya. What you find is that sometimes when a person is reading ruqya, they will read, I'm not going to use the Quran, because I don't want to make mockery of the Quran, but imagine I'm reading the Quran, it's like this. So I'm reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like that, becomes like that. The Quran becomes like that. That shows you the jinn has got power over the person, and it's stopping the ruqya. You see, it's stopping the ruqya. So that we say, look, stop sinning. If you're unsure what sins you're doing, then you speak to some sheikh. Speak to a sheikh or speak to one of the brothers who've got some knowledge. Ask them, look, what my situation? This is my situation. And then the sheikh will tell you, maybe there's a sin. What are you doing, brother? Stop these sins. Because sometimes the person, they can't tell what sins they're doing. And sometimes it's the case. They don't know it's a sin. So sometimes the person is not visiting his parents. I said, brother, why aren't you visiting your parents? No, brother, no, this is a big problem. You've got to treat parents right. Why are you doing this to your parents? Yeah, some people think they've got the right to treat their parents badly because the parents have done something bad to them. They think it's okay to do this sometimes. So no, you can't be treating the parents badly, you see. Is this something? Is that alright, brother? Did I answer the question?
you stop reading it.
Yeah, just stop reading. Stop reading, and then you stop reading, and then inshallah you should be alright. So you just get yourself back and you're alright. Don't carry on. If you see that happening, don't carry on. And also don't carry on if you, sometimes it's worse than that. What's worse? They can't even do it. So they say, okay, I'm going to do ruqya myself. 1. doesn't happen. Sorry, I'm not making fun. I'm just trying to show you. So when you see, you say, "Oh, I know what this. This is because you've got sins, brother. That's why."
Does istighfar help if you do it straight away?
Do istighfar. Yeah, what we found, if you do istighfar tawbah straight away, big difference. You see now, I can read a little bit longer. Okay, make more tawbah, and you pay sadaqah, pay some sadaqah, and you see that it gets better. They get better. Okay, if you stop praying and doing ibadah for a period of time, but then you start again, how long should you wait to go back to doing ruqya? Straight away you can do it. If you made good tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah's accepted you. You know that you believe that Allah's done everything for you. Okay, you made a proper tawbah and you've done maybe a good deed as well, sadaqah, and you stopped the sin completely, then straight away you can do your ruqya again. There's no need to worry. Really, there's no need to worry. I'm talking about if you've done a proper, not half-hearted. You want I still want. I don't know if I'm going to know. You make it sincere. This is it. Ya Rabbi, I'm stopped, and you're going to do it. Then you can do it, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala, you can go back straight away to do it. Yeah.
Can women on the menstruation cycle do ruqya?
Yes, women on their menstruation, yes, they can read the ruqya. Maybe not touch the mushaf, but they can read ruqya from their memory. And this is a funny thing. You find there's a lot of sisters that get issues when they're having a menstruation. One of the reasons they have these issues because they're not doing no dhikr. They're not doing nothing. The morning, evening, after they stop everything. So they're not even saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, nothing. They don't do no salah on the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They don't do anything, and that's why it's getting really bad, brother. The treatment is really bad on that month, my menses. Why is that? It's because they're not doing. A lot of sisters, they don't do anything. They can read, they can do everything. Do the ruqya from your memory. Read the Quran. All you need is Surah Falaq, and that's read the ruqya on yourself. You see, so they can read ruqya on themselves. There's no problem, and nobody's going to say that you don't pray. Obviously, not praying, but then you can do the ruqya and do the morning evening adhkar. Very important. That morning evening adhkar is very important. There's a lot of issues out there. And like I said to you, ayn is very easy to give to somebody. Okay? So it's important for us to keep up with that. The morning evening adhkar, keep it up. Protection, we need to protect ourselves. Because if you don't protect yourself, you can be, especially if we live in a non-Muslim country, there's a lot of problems out there. There's a lot of problems there. We need to protect ourselves. We need to, from these issues. Any other questions?
But can you just touch upon how to treat yourself for physical illness?
Oh,
so say for example someone's trying to conceive for a child and stuff.
Oh, okay. Alright, so somebody like that, for example, wants to conceive for a child, they're not having a child now. We have to be honest here, that sometimes that could be a spiritual disease, it could be type of sickness to stop them having babies. And it could also be ayn, which is doing this. And it could also be jinn possession stopping this. So the person can't have a baby. So what did we tell these people to do first of all? Okay, do ruqya diagnosis to see if there's any of these issues. Once this is negative, there's nothing, I've got no sihr, there's no ayn, there's no jinn possession, there's nothing, there's no waswas, I'm okay. Really? It's okay. Now what you do, go to the doctors, get checked out, and start reading ruqya yourself for you to get cured from this. And you go to the hijamist and ask the hijamist about this, put the hijama cups in certain places to help you conceive. You can do that. Because now you know definitely it's not ruqya problem. So therefore you're not going to waste your time going to the raqi. Alright, in that sense, you could do. You're looking for the spiritual disease. You're not going to look at that. You're not going to look for the ta'weed. You're going to do it. You're going to just be spending time reading ruqya in yourself, because you can use, like I said at the beginning, you can use ruqya for physical diseases like this. Sometimes this issue is not because of sihr or ayn or jinn. It is because there's something wrong with the person. So they need to read ruqya on themselves. They can read ruqya on themselves for this problem, and they can go to the doctors, medical doctors.
What intention they make is general.
Oh, Allah cure me from this. And again, the intention is so I can go back to worshiping Allah properly again. Because these things, they affect your iman. When you want to get, it saddens you, get depressed. When somebody's depressed, they're not going to really worship Allah as they could have, if they weren't depressed, So that intention applies to that as well. So they're asking Allah to cure from this illness, where they're suffering from because of their child, they can't have any children, and they're asking, all of this obviously to get back to get back to worshiping Allah properly again. That's okay. Any other questions?
One last question from me. When you do the diagnosis for the ayn, how crucial is it for your eyes to be closed? Or is it just for the ayn? You don't need to diagnosis.
Yeah.
How crucial is it to have your eyes closed?
Okay, for the diagnosis, fine. How crucial it is for to have the eyes closed is very crucial.
Is it just for the eye or is it?
No, it's for all of them. For sihr, for ayn, for jinn possession, and for that. For all of them, it's important to close your eyes. Okay, yeah, you need to close your eyes for all of them. Sometimes the patient just gets the reaction of the eyes only. So again, this is an experience thing. You see, this is an experience thing. So a lot of these things is experience. You see, it's an experience, you know. Okay.
So if you're under the possession of a jinn, and you commit a sin, like say you mentioned someone murdering someone, something like that. On the day of judgment, will you still be held accountable for that? Obviously, in this life, you'd only know if it's jinn or if it's a person. But how does it work in Islam?
No, you won't be accountable. You'll be counted as someone who's majnoon.
So in this life, you might be getting a death sentence, obviously.
Sometimes you know this. Did you see that case? Did you see the case of the person who did? It seems that Allah knows best. He committed suicide in the haram. In the haram. And when I looked at it, I said, this could be jinn doing that. It could be jinn pushing him. Yes, it can happen, you know, pushing. Or it could be inside him coming up and then doing this thing. It could happen. But what happens though is that if it happens, this comes like this, then you're not going to be accountable for that. Because you're not accountable for these things. And it does happen sometimes. That sometimes the jinn will come up and it will punch people. And when you talk to the person comes back and says, did you know what you did? You punched me. You punched me. Really? Did I punch you? I don't know. I didn't know. Yes, and the person doesn't know. Sometimes they do know. Sometimes what happens, one patient described to me, sometimes in some cases when the jinn comes, the person actually black out. And he doesn't know anything. It's like he's sleeping. And then he comes back and says, what happened? Why am I here for? He doesn't know. And sometimes in other cases that what happens is they say, this is how they describe it, the patient, he said, I was there, and then what happens, like I stepped back. And something came forward and took over and started walking. I was like a film. I was watching a film. I see something is happening, doing things. It wasn't me. So what's going on here? It's like I was watching a film. That's what happens. That case is a little bit better than the other one. Meaning that the first one I said, doesn't know anything we found from experience, that one's got more sins than this one. So this person, he sees what's happening. You can see what's happening. The other one, he doesn't know what's going on. You see? He doesn't know what's happening. But Sheikh, what were you saying?
Yes, one common symptom is that a person says that when they're asleep, they feel paralyzed and they want to wake up, but they can't wake up. They realize there's something that's like somebody holding.
Yes, Sheikh. You know what that is? We find this from sleep paralysis. Now, Allah knows best exactly what is going on. We know that what we have found, that sometimes the soul goes out, okay? And when it's coming back, it seems that maybe the jinn is playing with it. And that's why the people, they freeze. So what we say to patients, that this happens to you, this is a sign that maybe you've got jinn possession, if somebody gets this. So what you do, you need to check yourself, obviously, see if you've got jinn. We don't know, maybe you don't have it. Check yourself, okay? And if this does happen to you, then when it happens to you, try to read Surah Falaq and Nas on yourself to get rid of it. If you can't read Surah Falaq and Nas, but sometimes it blocked your mouth. So what we said to people, read in your head. You try to, if you can't do the last thing, read it in your head and you find that you get released. Because, you know, yes, it's bid'ah to read in your head anyway. So if somebody wants to do salah like that, you can't do it. But if somebody's can't move their mouth, can't do nothing, he's paralyzed like that, he prays with his eyes. So you fear Allah as much as you can. So what we found, when a person is blocked, because you had this with people, you see, you try to read, you can't read, you try, and you just do, even you do it in your head, Allah will accept it and you see that it goes away. That's what we see from experience, you know. So yeah, this could be jinn. It's caused, we think it's caused by the jinn doing this, playing with their soul is coming back.
Jinn inside or outside?
Yeah, it could be outside or inside. Yes,
can the person be affected by jinn which is not inside the body?
Yes, it could be, yes. It could be, yes. That's why you have to check that's why you have to do your morning, even do the adhkar before they sleep before wudu. It could be that there's a jinn outside affecting you, or it could be the jinn inside you affecting you. You know? And Allah knows best, you know. Yes. And one thing to talking about that, all cases, what we've seen, and Allah knows best, all the cases actually dealt with the sleep paralysis have been jinn possession. But does it mean that every single one is jinn possession? I don't know, I can't say. But I will say though, it seems, and Allah knows best, also the sleepwalking, it seems, and Allah knows best, that all of the cases of sleepwalking is jinn possession. Sometimes the person will come out, open the door, go outside, and then come back inside. And you know what the scary thing about this one is? It is not to do with sins. So that even if a pious person, because he's sleeping, the soul has gone out. What we've seen from experience, we've seen it even happen to baby, child, below the age of 54-year-old, comes up, sleepwalking, and it's swearing, effing. This is not my baby, what is this? Effing, they read Ruqya on it and it gets affected. When in the morning, so when this person they called, I said, okay, I said, that's because the soul is gone. I said, what should we do? So I said, get him up. When he got up, I said, now you read the Ruqya. When he's up now, just I said, yes, the jinn is not talking anymore. When in the morning, doesn't talk, in the night talk, only sleep. I said, because that's what's happened. I said, this even happens for the pious people. That's only the exception to this rule when the jinn speaking, you see. In general, when you see the jinn speaking, it's all to do with sins. And that's why, looking at, when I saw this experience, that's why you sleep with your other, you must do, sleep with wudu, sleep with, because even if you, I remember my wife actually told me, she said to me, Saeed, I didn't sleep last night. What do you mean you didn't sleep? I was helping, I was stopping the thing was, she said, I was punching I was doing this. I think she actually said to me, I was trying to take the eye out. I said, what happened there? She stayed up all night stopping me doing this. I said, no, I don't remember any of that. And then afterwards I realized, that's what is happening. The jinn maybe is taking, one of my souls has gone out, jinn is taken over the body and is trying to attack me. So she stayed up all night and doing this. What we have also found, if my wife had weak iman, she's a sinner, she will never be able to stop this. And that's what we've seen. We've seen cases, right, where the sister, this part, the jinn has come up, the husband is there, I don't have, I'm sorry, like this, on his neck. Oh, and we go in the house, oh, brother, what's going on? Oh, look what you're doing to me, oh, like this, it is attacking. Sister, it's not very, can you look at your own, you can't do much with that. I mean, it's better to do that, isn't it? This jinn is doing this, like this. So then the brothers, and he's strangling him, he's going to die. So the brothers, what I did, Saeed, I just did like that, I tapped it, and it got off. But if you had, what we seen, if you got weak iman, and that's what that brother had, he couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop that jinn doing that to him. And that's also the case. If you got, in general, if you got weak iman, you can't stop these situations. So if you yourself know that you're weak in iman, don't read on people. You know yourself. If you got weak iman, so when something like this happens, because it can happen, that the jinn can come up and it could strangle the patient like this. So you're reading Ruqya on the patient, and the patient is doing this. The jinn is doing this to the patient, strangling him. If you've got weak iman, you won't be able to pull the hand down, because your iman is weak. You won't be able to pull the hands down and stop the strangling. So if my wife in that situation, she had weak iman, she will not be able to stop this jinn doing this. And my eye, I would have no eye maybe now. I'll be talking to you with one eye maybe. You know? But alhamdulillah, she had strong iman, she was able to stop that jinn doing that to me. So that's why it's important for reading Ruqya, for reading before you sleep on your children, and the children learn how to do this adhkar, and you read on your children. If they can't read Surah Falaq and Nas, when they go to sleep, before they sleep, you read that dua for them. You know? أعيذك, or depending if it's a boy or girl, أعيذك وأعيذك بكلمات الله تامة من كل شيطان وهمة ومن كل عين لمة. You read that and hold their head and you read it. If you got two, then أعيذكما, two of them. You read that dua for them. And you let them sleep. You know, if they do, or even a baby, you can do that for the baby. You see, because the jinns can take over and you can have a little sleepwalking case with the jinn running around. We had some cases where, you know, I won't describe this, forget that, because there's children and there's sisters here. But it's bad, brothers, it's bad. Or I'm telling you, so people, when it comes up, and you could be very pious, it could take over and you can do things. Just like my case, look, he's doing this, he wants to take the ayah. My wife wasn't there, problem. You know, and maybe that night I didn't read the adhkar, because sometimes when you've got this sihr and jinn, you're so tired, because it's an illness, and we have to remember this. This thing is illness, so don't be so harsh on somebody when they're so tired. Sometimes I would just fall down asleep, I would sleep, and I would forget, I forget to do the dhikr or adhkar before I sleep, and I just sleep like this. Maybe that night, that's when he came and he was doing these things to me. Alhamdulillah, my wife was there, she stopped it. You see? Yeah, so subhanAllah. Yeah, so if you find somebody who's doing sleepwalking, please speak to them and tell them, look, check for jinn possession. You might have something there. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, thank you very much.